Test, lurk, lurk. There it is. Hi there, Lucy. How you doing? I was fiddling around trying to make my front ports of my case, tower case, whatever you want to call it, PC, the front audio jacks work, and I still can't get them to work. Brand new. I got this new media thing. The music sounds really loud. How is it for you guys? It sounds really loud to me. Of course, I had to screw everything up, didn't I? Oh god. I love when you click on a volume slider to bring it down and it just jumps up. Don't you love that? We're going down to 1 there. Sorry about that. I tried. Just whenever you click the volume slider, it just jumps up. Anywho, I got this yeah, if I didn't have the camera mounted, I would move it around and show you. But I got this, what do they call it? A media dashboard. Basically, I've had this empty 5.5 inch or 5.25 is it inch slot open on my PC tower under my CD drive. I've had it open with nothing in it since I rebuilt the computer. What was it, a couple years ago? Because I couldn't keep the old CPU cooler. The CPU cooler used to have something in that bay that showed the temperature of the CPU, and it had a little man shoveling. It would animate the guy shoveling whenever it was trying to cool the PC, and it's like, it's a PC cooler, it's a CPU cooler. When is it not trying to cool it? You know, it's not like it can actively change much of anything. Whatever. It was kind of neat that I had on my computer for the longest time. When I rebuilt my PC, though, I got a different, CPU and motherboard, and that thing didn't fit anymore. So I got different good CPU cooler, but of course they don't come with these big 5.25 inch bay displays just to show you your computer temperature anymore. And I lost the metal mesh thing that covers up the slot. So up until a couple days ago, I just had this open square hole underneath the CD drive, so dirt and dust could get in, and it was just annoying. It looked terrible. So because of that, and because I also wanted an easier way to read my my SD card from my camera, my digital camera, and I'm not talking about a damn smartphone either. I'm talking about a digital camera. We had these things. Some people might not remember this, but we had these things called cameras back in the day, and their whole job was to be a camera. I know it's crazy that it's not a phone. It's a camera. No, you can't hold it to your ear and talk to somebody. You can't text anybody with it. But you know what it does? It takes pictures because it's a camera. Sorry, rant. But anyway, whenever I plug this thing into my PC, ever since I rebuilt it with the Windows 10 and everything, I plug it in, I'm able to read the pictures off of it and stuff. But then when it comes time to unplug it, you know how usually when you plug something in the USB and then you can go down to the taskbar and right-click something to safely eject it before you unplug it? You can't do that with this. It doesn't even show up as something that's ejectable. So all you can do is I turn off the power on the camera and then I unplug it. Well, after I unplug it, I get a ding Windows error message. It's been unplugged. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I just unplugged it. Close out the message. 5 minutes later, I get 3 more. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, it's been unplugged. Unplugged. I'm like, I know. I unplugged it. It does that for like 2 or 3 days. Every once in a while, I get a little ping. Oh, it's been unplugged. That was getting really annoying. So, because I had this slot empty anyway, and I wanted to put something there, and I was getting pissed off at that message. Every time I wanted to get a picture off the camera, my computer would cry at me for like a day or two, telling me that it's been unplugged. Anyway, I got this thing as a card reader. It's called a media dashboard, but it's a card reader. I may have a picture. No, I think I deleted the picture. Never mind. I did put it up on my Discord though. But basically it has all these different slots for different kinds of cards. One of them is SD card, which I need, but it has a bunch of other little card slots too. And it even has a 4-pin plug for like power for like an external like CD drive or something maybe. Usually I only see that plug at the end of a wire that goes into the power supply, but so that's neat. And also, even more useful than the card readers, is it has two USB 3.0 slots. The only 3.0 slot I had before I added this was one slot in the back. So it's nice that there's two more slots right up here in the front that's 3.0. And yes, it is actually 3.0. I had to find the spot on the motherboard to plug it in, but I did. The funny thing is, there's a wire from this thing going to the 3.0 slots for those two ports, and then there's another wire going to USB 2.0. And so I think that's for the actual card reader itself. Only runs off of 2.0 instead of 3.0, but who cares? It works. And then there was another, what other wires was there? There's the audio jack wire. Plugged that in. I unplugged the wire going to the front jack of the actual tower because that wasn't working. And I think it does work. I think it's a problem with the motherboard or the I think it's a Windows 10 thing with the Realtek audio drivers or whatever. I don't know. I really haven't dug into it enough. Well, I was trying to dig into it and I just get frustrated with it. But anyway, I unplugged the two audio jacks that are on the tower, and I plugged in the wire for the audio jacks on this new media dashboard thing instead. And surprise, surprise, they don't work either. There's nothing wrong with the jack itself. It's Windows 10. It has some issue with detecting the front audio jacks. I don't know. Although I will say I tried plugging in the headphones to it a few times to try to make it work, and the plug doesn't fit very tight. It's kind of loose, so even though it's brand new, it kind of sucks anyway. But I didn't really get it for that. I knew the front freaking audio ports weren't going to work because they never did. So, you know, whatever. I got it mostly for the card reader, the 3.0 slots, and to fill the spot in the front of the tower. It was only like $20 on Amazon, and I can't complain. Okay. Should have got that years ago, a couple years ago when I first built the PC and had that open spot. But anyway, all right, let's see. It's time to start with the trains. We have one good-sized box and two small boxes, but one of the two small boxes just has transformers in it, which I don't know I'm gonna bother showing off. So this might be either a short stream or I might switch to Derail Valley. We'll see. Well, it's already 9 o'clock. I started late, so we'll see. The paper's in good shape. Hey, here's a caboose. I like this caboose. Oh, I don't have enough light. I knew I was gonna forget something. I don't have a light bulb. A couple days ago, here's my lamp. I don't have a light bulb for it right now. A couple days ago, or whenever it was, I was putzing around with something. Yeah, I put the lamp up here, but I didn't put it in the right spot where it would stay, and I moved around, and instantly the lamp fell over. The bulb didn't shatter, at least, but it did go out, so I need a new light bulb. We even have light bulbs downstairs. I'm trying to decide if it's worth it. I mean, turn this down. I guess that kind of works. How does this work? That works okay. Can't see anything on the screen because the light's pointed at it, but you know, whatever. Alright. This is a Lionel, we're going post-war to begin with. This is a, what do they call these cabooses? In real life, these cabooses were only ever made by Pennsylvania Railroad. The round porthole window caboose, they're called. They're also, technically the designation is N5C, I believe, for this caboose. Real life, only ever made for Pennsylvania Railroad. Of course, that doesn't stop Lionel doing whatever they want. Lionel really likes these round window cabooses. They're heavier, better quality cabooses than the other ones that you normally see. This one's got metal trucks, got an operating coupler on one end. Damn shame that almost all cabooses almost never have a coupler on both ends. They realize they could save a few cents and say, oh no, it doesn't need couplers on both ends because it's a caboose. I am noticing the wire for the light here is completely missing. I didn't know the wire was completely missing. It's the light. I think the bulb's blown. I don't know where the wire for it is. I know I had to resolder it, but I don't know why it's missing. But that's easy enough to fix. Here's the pickup for it. Sheet metal frame is a bit rusty. I remember that always being a bit rusty, so like, you know, good condition, I would say. It says 64273 on the side, but that's not the number, the actual Lionel number of it. Lionel lines. I think they did make some that were red. This is Tuscan color. I think they did make some that were red that actually said Pennsylvania, which is what they really should all say. I guess I should be getting the box out, huh? That's heat shrink. Don't worry about the heat shrink. That's just in the way. I rearranged things. I built myself a new mount. Well, mount, I say. I built myself a little shelf / table for that big CRT monitor. That I could probably show off a little bit. There it is. So now the CRT monitor here is lined up with the other two better because it's up higher. I made it out of the top of this shelf here. I made a Discord post about this too. But the top of this shelf here is this thick clear plastic. It's probably about a ½ inch thick, maybe a little thicker than a ½ inch. And it's kind of like thick plexiglass. And then I just drilled a few holes in it and put some 2x4s to make legs for it to prop it up here so that the keyboard fits in better. The keyboard's not right up at the edge of the table anymore because that was hurting my wrist. But anyway. But you know where I got that piece of clear plastic to make the shelf to rest the monitor on? It was the core of the old monitor. Believe it or not. Wish I got a light bulb. I forgot about that. But yeah, it was at the center of. I took the old monitor apart. I ended up just saving, well, that piece of plastic and a whole bunch of screws, and I got the little circuit board with a bunch of little buttons on it that were for the buttons at the front of the monitor, like brightness and contrast and all that stuff. So I guess I could maybe use that as extra buttons for something someday. I don't know. But yeah, I took that apart to see if I could see anything obvious wrong with it. I got it all the way apart down to all the little pieces, and I think the LEDs blew out. It had these LED bars on the top and the bottom. I think they blew out because they were kind of dark on the corners, on the edges. And I wasn't going to try to find the parts to replace that with, and who knows if I scratched something when I took it apart anyway. I was pretty careful, but you know, whatever. I had to pry the damn thing open to get it apart because who heard of using screws to hold something together? Why do that when you can just shove it all together with all these little plastic clips that there's no way to take apart without destroying things? But yeah. Trying to see. I don't think any of these plastic railings are broken, right? I think they're good. Up. Oh, the one above the brake wheel right there. There's one little bit of the railing, plastic railing that's broken. Yeah, I thought I remembered that. Oh. So, I mean, Probably good condition at least. All right, books. That's pre-war, and I don't think there's a price. Well, I think it might show prices, but it's not as easy. Excellent and like new. What pre-war stuff is like new? Come on, show me good. Oh, very good, excellent, like new. Okay, well, maybe I should have been using this. What year was this book made in? 2007. Oh, it's a little bit newer. Anyhow, I don't know if we'll see much pre-war tonight. I think we did most of the pre-war stuff already. Looking for this book. Okay. We are post-war. Oh, what's the actual number of this car? Oh, I never know these cabooses. For some reason, they decided with the longer number with the caboose, which just makes some sense because the real things had longer numbers. But usually when a car or locomotive has a longer like show number like that, there's still like a stamp underneath that tells you the actual number of the damn thing that Lionel uses. And if it's there, I can't see it because it's a little rusty. I don't think it's there though. I don't think it's stamped. Might have been a sticker that's been gone. $11.53? Built 11. No, that's built $11.53. Well, that's annoying. Gonna need the other book then. That one. Oh. Oh, come on. Bolt going through my desk there now because that clear plastic top of a shelf that I made for the monitor, I had to move the legs, the 2x4 legs back to give myself enough room for the keyboard, and hopefully I'll be able to set up the steering wheel and stuff. I don't know yet, but I think I will. But anyway, that meant that the plastic has to overhang like 3 inches in front of those wooden legs. And of course, this freaking CRT monitor is so big it's sticking out past the legs. So I was worried about the whole thing tipping forward a bit because these CRT types monitors, they're heavy and a lot of the weight is right up at front at the screen itself. So I drilled a hole through the computer desk, which who cares? I have so many holes in this desk by now. But and I've had a little metal angle, 90-degree angle bracket on one of the 2x4 legs. I should have done it on one of the back legs, but I couldn't reach anything back there. Anyway, I put that angle bracket on, and then I put a bolt right through the desk, bolt that bracket down to try to keep it from tipping forward. But it's pretty solid. It's not going anywhere. I've already tested it a few times because I was fiddling with different things and having to plug in and unplug stuff at the back of the tower and leaning over it and stuff, and nothing fell over in it. There we go. Pennsylvania type caboose is what they call it. They call them porthole window cabooses. Oh wow, the only one. Oh yeah, Tuscan could either say Lionel Lines or Pennsylvania. 6427 supposedly. Okay. 6417 is what would say Pennsylvania. Oh, I see. It says 536417. 64273. Oh, so it's a 6427. Oh, that wasn't too hard to figure out, was it? The first ones were sheet metal because they were carried over from pre-war days. I do believe. Yeah, N5 caboose. '67, 6417 of Pennsylvania. 54. Okay, mine's probably a 64-7. No, it's not 64-17. 64-27. Oh, 17 had two couplers, huh? Of course. So it could be 55. Lionel lines Tuscan. And then they had a sky blue one for the girls' train. Oh, good lord. Okay, it doesn't have plastic trucks, so it's not 58 or later, 59 or later. Okay, cool. Oh. Apparently there's a Tuscan one like this, but it says Lehigh Valley 64-17 instead of Lionel, and those are worth a fortune. They're very rare. Okay, what about the Virginia? The blue Virginia. Oh, that's the blue Virginia 1958. $427-60. Sorry, I'm reading. Came in one set led by the Virginia Rectify. Boy, that's worth a lot. Probably 58. Looks pretty cool. Of course, in real life, they were never ever anything else besides Pennsylvania Railroad. Well, Conrail and then whatever else took over after that. So, it's a 64-27. Sorry, I'm wasting a lot of time. We only got 2 boxes to go through this time, so maybe that's on purpose. I don't know. That's for 64-27. Lionel lines 1954-60. $13 in good condition and 33 in excellent. Yeah, beautiful. $13. Probably not even, because there's a little bit of rust in that, a little broken piece in the bearings. Or worth $10. But that's the kind of stuff I like to have, so you can just run on the, not have to worry about having the fancy box and putting them on a shelf and never touching them. Now here's an even cheaper caboose, I think. You'll still have some papers lying around somewhere, I think, if I need to replace them. Though it felt a little heavy. No, maybe not. This is kind of a bastardized thing, I think. I know it's an El Cheapo caboose. It does have an operating coupler of metal trucks here, but I don't think it always did. I think I did some tomfoolery. No, I didn't replace trucks because this is riveted. That's never been replaced. Never mind. Well, that one's riveted on. So this one I can tell by the side of the truck, and it's got like this weird whiteness to it. It's a metal truck and metal wheels, but it's a Scout style truck. This one is not a Scout, so I think this one I might have replaced. I can't tell because there's a coupler. No, that's got a good rivet too. That's very strange. I don't remember then. Oh, maybe that's not a Scout style truck. It sure looks like it though. Weird. Huh. I'm not sure. This truck on this end is a nice metal truck with operating coupler. It's like what you would find on any other cars from that era. It's not a coil coupler, it's not that old. But I feel like that's not original, but man, that's a good looking rivet if it's not. I was never any good at doing the rivets. I would usually try to find a nut and bolt that would work or something. And then this one, this truck looks like a Scout style truck. It's weird. It's got like a sheet. The truck has like a sheet metal frame, and then there's this. I'm not sure if the side of this is even metal, but it's like stamped in. Yeah, that's like a Scout. I don't know what happened with this caboose. I don't remember. I think it had a Scout style truck on this end too with a coupler. And first off, the Scout couplers don't match up with the regular couplers. The ones that are actually, just specifically Scout style. And second of all, I think the coupler, the little knuckle of the coupler broke off. But I don't know how I managed to to rivet on this new truck and make it look good, because I was never any good with rivets, and that doesn't look like a pop rivet either. I don't know. I don't remember what I did. Oh, you know what? No, it's not. It didn't have to get re-riveted. I think I drilled out the rivet of the old one, but this one has a stud that sticks up through, and then on the inside there's a horseshoe clip. I think that's what it is. I could get a screwdriver. You know what? Curiosity killed the cat. It's only one screw to take out, I think. The frame is just like stamped sheet metal, it's simple. It's not rusty though. The car itself is pretty dirty. It's kind of typical of my stuff, actually. Oh, both ends. See, look, there's a screw in both ends instead of metal tabs or something else. So this is built a little bit better, really. There's some kind of hodgepodge stuff going on with this. I don't remember what. Too long ago. Did the screw pop out? No. Let's see. I'm intrigued now. Oh, come on, let go. The railings are bent just a tiny bit, and it's keeping you from getting the plastic cab off. But I know it's been apart before. There we go. Yes, okay. Now it makes more sense. Not that you guys can really see, but this side still has the original black rivet. That's a regular rivet. And I really hate it when things are put together with rivets, because when something breaks and you have to replace it, they're very, very hard to deal with. Especially this one, because it's just a big hole in the middle. The rivet's just around the outside edge. So how do you get rid of it? You got to find a drill bit that just fits the right size to drill through the rivet without drilling through the sheet metal frame. It's really annoying. Anyway, I must have drilled out the other one because the coupler was broken. And this truck must have come from something else that was broken. And this is like a nice post-war style heavy metal truck. That's why this whole car is as heavy as it is, with the nice coupler on the end and stuff. And that has like a stud that was welded onto the truck from the factory. The stud goes up through. I'm not good with figuring out how to do camera stuff. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a horseshoe clip on the end of that stud, and that's how that's held in place. Which is the much better style because you can replace it. It's not a freaking rivet that's permanent. It could use a washer under that horseshoe clip though to make it not quite as wobbly, but I think it went down the tracks just fine. Okay, let's see if we can get this back together now. Shouldn't be hard. A lot of my trains really need to be cleaned, but I wouldn't know how to do it without destroying something, so I never do it. I never try. Like, years of fingerprints and grime and stuff that needs to be cleaned off. But how do you clean it without wrecking the stampings and stuff, You'd have to be very careful. So I always just elected to not clean them. Oh, this is pain in the ass getting this screw back in. Just have to kind of... I know you can't see what I'm doing, but you have to, like, get the screw in, lay it down near the hole, and then play with the screwdriver and stand it up in the hole. If that makes any sense. There we go. What would really make this a lot easier is if I had an actual magnetic screwdriver. I never did. I have another little screwdriver that's a lot like this one with a head that you can swap back and forth between Phillips and standard. And it's got a magnet in the end, opposite where the screw head is, right? Like if the screwdriver is here, the magnet's over here. And the magnet's supposed to go through the metal shaft of the screwdriver, but it doesn't do that. The only thing that's really magnetic anymore is the other end of the screwdriver where the magnet is. So it can be a little bit more useful, but most of the time it just makes you wish you had an actual magnetic screwdriver. There we go. Now it's together. I like that there's a screw on either end, though. It makes it a lot easier to work on. And the plastic folds over to have the base of the walkway too, so it's not like a little hole on the edge of the plastic that's going to break out like a lot of stuff has. So for being an El Cheapo caboose, this thing's pretty nice. So I'm going to say originally this was a Scout style caboose. It had the Scout style couplers that came in a Scout set. 6059 M St. What is that? Milwaukee, St. Louis. And I know this thing's... I'm gonna look it up, but it's gonna be worth like $10 because it's a Scout set, and people don't care about Scout stuff. It's made cheaply for the purposes of being cheap. 6059. Yeah, M&SL, M in St. Louis, SP type caboose, 1961 through 69. Yeah, that's the other problem. It's 60s. Painted red, or unpainted red, or unpainted maroon. Now, what they mean by that is the plastic red plastic, or is it whatever color plastic and then they painted over it with red? That's a difference, because apparently, if it's unpainted red, which I'm pretty sure this one is, it's worth $4 in good and $7 in excellent. Like I said, Scout style stuff is not worth anything. And that's got a replaced coupler, so it's really not worth anything. But if it was painted red instead of unpainted red, it'd be worth 13 in good and 22 in excellent. Ooh. But it's not. You'd have to like try to chip the inside a little bit to see if the plastic is actually red. I think the plastic is actually red on this. I don't think it's painted, because the inside looks exactly like the outside, so yeah. It's just a rarer variation, I guess, if they had to paint it red, because it wasn't actually made out of red plastic. But, whatever. Why am I drinking one soda? Ugh. Okay, this newspaper is okay. Man, I'd love to set up my trains again someday, but don't have anywhere to do it. Don't have the room. place the paper. Let's see if I can find that paper. Oh, don't go further underneath the bed. I can't do it. There's papers under the bed, but they just keep falling further under the bed where I can't reach them. Probably saw the top of my head. Oh no, you saw the top of my head. Canceled now. It's not red. I can't get them. There. Way back there. I just threw my ruler back there in frustration, so now I can't get that either. Good job, me. Get some reusing paper. Oh, hey. What is this doing here? That wasn't with the rest of the set? I guess it wasn't. Yeah, I remember now. I noticed that the caboose wasn't there. This is a modern caboose. This goes with the rest of that modern set that I showed off the last time or the time before. It's the modern set that I got as a birthday present and used and abused because I was younger and didn't know any better. It was a light up caboose. Decent weight. I mean, this was a nice built set, but young Red Bear wasn't very nice to his trains, I think. It's still got the wire for the power. And it's only got the one. Oh no, there's. Okay, so it has pickup shoes on both trucks, and then it's got this metal strip that goes on the axles because since the whole thing's plastic, it can't get the power from there, so it needs two wires. The wire from this metal strip for the axles looks like it's still there, but the wires from both pickup shoes are gone. I'm sure I've had this apart many times and probably messed around with it, but it did light up at one time. It's got like a plastic insert inside. Yeah, I kind of remember this. Let's see if it comes apart easy. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's not screwed together or anything. It's just, you can pull the top off, see? It's got like clear plastic so the windows look nicer. And, okay. Well, here's another metal strip for the other axle. It goes to a wire. Got some wire nuts. Got some more wires. And there's the little socket for the light is still there in the center. But the problem is it uses this really weird little square push-in bulb because they had to be different, I guess. It's probably cheaper. It was almost like a Christmas light bulb, but it's got to be the right voltage for the train set, right? So yeah, I think that's why I kind of gave up on making this one work, because I had to have that bulb too. But I got all the pieces that I could make it work again. Let's see if we can figure out what kind of condition that it's really in. Dirty, of course. Oh yeah, there's a screw for that metal bit that goes on the axles. So that can be easily fixed. I'm looking for like broken steps, plastic steps, or plastic railings, you know, the stuff that breaks easily. I think it looks pretty good. Well, so if you fixed up the wires and stuff, oh, it's got a melt hole right in the top here. That is probably because young Red Bear stuck in a different kind of socket in the middle with one of the bulbs that he did have, right? And that bulb stuck out too high and melted a hole right in the roof. That's good. So that knocks this down to good condition, if that. 26552. And then the big number here, 999427. I don't think that matters. 26552 is the actual number. I'm a little interested in what year it's from because I don't remember when I got that set. So it's modern era. 5 digits. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. 26, 1, 5, 2. Everything's in parentheses for some reason. 6, 2, 6, 5, 5, 2. It might be too new to be in this box, actually. Yeah, I've got 26544 Alaska caboose. No price because it's too new. Yep. So this was 2002, and it's too new. I don't think it's in this box, actually. In this book, I mean. Okay. So yeah, this is early 2000s. Interesting. I don't think I have any other books. And it ain't worth a much of anything. It's got a hole in the roof. You know, it's been used and abused. It's not in as bad a shape as other stuff from this set, especially the locomotive, but yeah. Okay. Back on the same paper, especially do a BRB screen and move things around and crawl around under the thing. That's where it went. Eventually I'm gonna have to do that though, because all this paper is not gonna be good. Gonna need more paper. Or without there I can get more. Oh! Pre-war tin. What's that doing here? Good job putting the same thing in the same box. Really just stuff everything in boxes until I had it all put away. Okay, this is a tin pre-war caboose. NYC 1682. So this is pre-World War II now. This is tin. Not in the best shape, but not terrible either. It's got some rust on the frame, but it's not too bad. It's not super rusty or anything. This is like whatever they did to print the lines on the outside are nice still. United States Safety Appliance Stand. Let's see. The problem with the light pointing down is you just get reflections of the light instead of being able to actually see it. I think it's better with that. Well, without it, you can't see anything. I really need another light bulb. You know what? Let me run downstairs and see if I can find more papers and a light bulb. Because with the metal stuff, it really reflects bad, I'm noticing. I have returned. I should have ran an ad, I just realized, but oh well. I found a light bulb. It is an LED bulb. It's kind of weird. It's like a plastic bulb, and it's very lightweight. But it works. I know LEDs are nice because they don't get hot. So there you go. 1682. Now, this pre-war, like my other pre-war stuff, the problem with this, and I think I have one or two other cars like this, is the coupler. Back in probably the latest part of the pre-war era, I want to say, so like 1939 through 42 or something like 41, 42, they started using these box couplers. They would call them automatic couplers. This black part is like a big kind of flap on the top of the coupler. And the idea is that you have these hooks sticking out, and then you just kind of push them together, and the hooks will go under this flap and couple together, and then you just pull up the flap to pull it apart, which is nice because before then all you had was the ones on the hinges, and those were really a pain in the ass to work, you know. So it's nice, but the problem is they came out with it very late, and you can't really couple these to other cars and locomotives that don't have them too easily. You can, but it's tricky. It's kind of tricky, and they'll twist and derail pretty easily. So this, even though it's a nice caboose, I think I mostly had it on display because of that coupler. 1682. You know what? Let's use the pre-war book. Let's see. I think the reason why I don't use this pre-war book is because it's not as easy to look stuff up in. It doesn't have that nice like index like the other book that I have has. It like tries to put stuff together in the correct sets and whatnot, which is nice. Well, that looks like my 1680. That's my 1689E right there. Cool. Hold on, just because it's right there, I just happened to see 1689E. Black or gunmetal. 1689T tender probably. Very good 75 and up, but mine is in terrible condition, so rarity 2, which I'm guessing isn't that rare. How do you look up like a index in this book? That's why I don't use this book. I need an index to be able to look at the numbers and say, okay, this number's on this page. It doesn't have that. That's why I don't use this book. It's a really nice book, but it's too much of looking for a specific thing because there's no like nice index, or at least like, well, that's double O gauge, jeez. Yeah, the other book has like nice tabs and stuff too. I'll look a little bit, but I don't want to waste much time doing this. Yeah, see, it should have the cabooses all in one place and something else all in one place, and it doesn't. Oh, there's my passenger. Oh, right under the 1689, there's my passenger. Yeah, 1690 and 91. $30 and very good, and mine are nowhere near very good. See, my caboose is brown instead of red, too. I thought it would be towards the end since it's probably newer. Then there's so much like accessories and other stuff. 1682? And that should be pretty close to these. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. 1679, 1680 tank car, 1681, 1682 caboose. Vermilion, red, or brown. I think this would be brown. That's all the same. Very good. $20. Excellent. 30. Rarity 4. 1933 to 41. I don't know how the rarity thing works, like which end of the scale is rare. Whatever. But yeah, it's nice. So what did I say? It was very good. $16.82. $20 are very good. I wouldn't quite say $20 very good, so it's worth like 15. Wow. What year is this from? 2007. I probably got it along with something else. Yeah. This stuff back. Pin stuff up at the top. Alright, and hate to do this to you guys, but now that I'm back from my BRB screen, I need to go BRB again because nature is calling, and it wasn't a second ago. Don't you love that? Kind of go to the bear meeting. Oh, what am I doing? I do want BRB. Anyway, I will be right back. It looks like my stream is not working too good anyway. The bit rate's in the red. Oh, that sorts itself out. Be right back. some metal going on. Oh, bumped my headphones against the lamp, apparently. Sorry about that. Oh, hi, Burn. Oh, you have a cold? Oh, that really sucks. It's not even cold yet. Oh, no, you talked about not having a cold in a couple years and then you got it. Well, if it lasts for longer than 2 or 3 days, then it's probably not COVID. Oh, I joke, but COVID can still be scary. My sister and her kids just went through COVID again. But yeah, it was... COVID spreads a lot easier now, I think, but it's also depending on your immunity, I suppose, too. I'm sure if you're not super healthy, then it might still be a big problem. I can't really say much. Okay, we are back to post-war. Interesting. This is a little baggie of like fall, autumn, fake fall, autumn leaves that are supposed to go with this set of... Can I make this not quite as bright? No, of course not. I went from having not enough light to way too much light. There we go. These are like just fake leaves that were supposed to go with this fake tree that went with this set of porcelain houses, and I never used them, so. I'll jinx him. Now, Burn, don't. Come on now. Well, it helps. Maybe it helps that you're in a relatively remote area. Twist ties. Oh, including a nice long twist tie. You know what? I'm taking these twist ties. They don't need to be in the freight car. I use twist ties a lot for different things. Oh, that's a nice long one. That one I can keep. That's just an old crappy wire. Alright, now I think the light goes back on. Tested yourself. Oh, good. Although, like I said, nowadays maybe it's not so good because COVID seems to last like 3 days and then you're really sick for like 3 days and then it's gone. I don't know. Used to be a lot worse, you know. So I'm not like one of those anti-vaxxers or people who go on, oh, COVID was nothing, it's all made up by Fauci or anything. No, it was a real thing. It killed a lot of people, but it's weakening now. It spreads really easy, but the virus itself is weaker, I think. At least that's what I've seen from everything anyway. Okay, I need to stop talking about real life things. Lionel 6142. This is a gondola. It's like a nice blue color. And it's more on the modern end of the post-war era because the couplers are plastic. Not the well, yeah, everything's the trucks and couplers are plastic, but the couplers do still operate. Oh, actually, and I think it was like this originally. One coupler operates and one doesn't. That's what they did to make it as cheap as possible while having operating couplers, as they would have one side operates and the other side doesn't. That's funny. So I'm gonna say 1960s for this, and probably worth about $10. Let's see. That was some interesting version of Final Fantasy VII we're doing, right? Oh, metal. Oh, in the style of Doom, I see. No jinxing yourself. Yeah, don't get COVID on top of cold. You'll be okay. $61.42. Lionel Gondola. Or Gondola. Usually I say Gondola, actually, just to kind of differentiate it for train stuff. Green, blue, or black? Same price for any. 1963 through 66 and to 1969. That's why I thought so. Yeah, cheap chintzy stuff. In good condition, I would say, besides being dirty, nothing looks broken. Couplers look fine. There's no, not that there's much of anything that could rust, but I don't see any rust. This, if cleaned up, would be very good condition. Probably excellent condition, actually. The writing is in fine shape. But 6142. In good condition, it's worth $2. An excellent 5. That's how much people don't care about the 60s stuff. It's a nice gondola. It rolls down the line just fine, I think. I don't think I ever really had any trouble with it particularly. It does have one operating coupler at least. But yeah, it's more plasticky than usual and it's 60s, so the fact that there's 3 different color variations and it doesn't matter tells you something about how much they're not worth. Okay, we can get some locomotives in the bottom row, probably. This is another gondola by the feels of it. Oh, how's the stream doing, Vern, if you're still there? I'm looking at the bottom of OBS and it's giving me a red square, which I don't like. Did it say dropped frames? Oh yeah, 12.6% dropped frames. It's up to music. Oh hey, look, it's the same thing. 6042. I forgot we had two. I had 2 of those. All right, well, there's another $7 if it's in excellent condition, which I'm close. I know this is a different one because it doesn't have the fake leaves in it. Yeah, fixed coupler on one side, operate. Oh, actually, this one. Wait a minute, is that? That's the fixed coupler on both ends. That's very interesting. One of these had an operating coupler and the other one doesn't. Yeah, they're fixed on both ends. Yeah, 1960s. It was mix and match, do whatever, toss it out the door. I would be willing to bet, quality-wise and value-wise, the stuff from the 60s, especially towards the end of the 60s, is not as good as the stuff that they made in the 70s and 80s, for the most part. The stuff was kind of made kind of cheap in the 70s, too, but in the 60s they were really getting rough, which is why General Mills bought the company, I think, in 1969-ish. I think. I could be wrong. It's the same year that Alco went out of business. Same year, let's see, 69. Yeah, all the railroads were dying around then. They just kept trying to cheap out, survive, basically, and they didn't do too good. No. I think 69 was the year that Pennsylvania Railroad took over New York Central and became Penn Central, and that lasted like 3 years before the whole thing fell apart. So, yeah. Bad time for the railroads. Oh, Baby Ruth. This car, if I remember correctly, I think this car liked to derail a little bit more than usual for some reason. It was in one of my regular freight sets that I ran around with, but I think there were some issues with this car and this paper. God, this freaking chair. I love this chair. It's comfortable and everything, but the damn locking pin just pops out randomly. So and then when I lean back, just we're going back for a ride. I hate these newspapers. Look how big this freaking newspaper is. Why does it have to be so gigantic? has less pages, but each page is huge. There, ASMR free of charge. Things to be stopping now and then. Damn. I hope the VOD comes out okay. Because I am mostly doing this for the VOD to go up on YouTube, because I have a lot of people on YouTube that ask me about the trains now and then. And I'm like actually cataloging them all now. So now it looks green. It's your end of the weather. I think it was my end for a bit because I looked down at the bottom of OBS and it looked pretty ugly. Now it's a green square. Anywho, this is post-war, right? Yeah. Why I even asked? I guess I asked because Baby Ruth was a big thing pre-war. This is post-war, but I'm going to say much earlier post-war. It's got nice metal trucks, operating couplers. They're not coil couplers, thankfully. I don't really like the coil couplers because you need a special track to operate them, and then if the coil couplers start not working, then they start just opening on you all the time. It's kind of annoying. But it's a nice heavy car. Got a sheet metal frame, looks pretty good. There's a little bit of paint loss on the sheet metal frame. It's not rusty though. Just as dirty as everything is. Up. Hold on. Is that dirt or is that a crack? I think it's got a hairline crack in the plastic on the end. The screw hole. Yeah, it's got a tab on one end and then a screw on the other end. And right at the screw hole, there's a hairline crack going up the side a bit. I think it might have been repaired, like glued or whatever, but still, it's there. That drops it down to no more than good, I would think. But this does roll down the track okay. I think it might have like derailed kind of easily. I don't remember. I do like it. It's good weight for a boxcar. The doors don't open or anything. It's simple. X6014. I wonder why it's an X. Oh, this light is too damn bright. Yep. I don't like this light. It's too bright. You know what? I'm going to turn off the other light and switch the bulbs as soon as this light bulb gets cooled off. Oh, this light puts... Oh, this bulb puts out some heat, that LED. I thought the LEDs didn't put out any. How do you like complete darkness? You want me to turn on the ceiling light? There we go, that's the ceiling light. As useful as that is. I just want to let the bulbs cool off, and then I want to switch them. Put the really bright one in the other in the light that shines up at the ceiling. See how that works out. Yeah, it's a little hot. The base of the LED gets hot. Interesting. It is a 60. But it was the only bulbs I could find. It's kind of hot, but it's not burning my fingers hot, so. That's the joke. How many 40-year-olds does it take to screw in a light bulb? Yes, the shade does help. It didn't make a damn bit of difference. I was hoping it wouldn't be as bright. Let's see. Oh, maybe that's better. Ooh. I'll shine the light directly at the computer so I can't see the screen, but that makes the lighting for you guys better. There you go. Enjoy Curtis Baby Ruth Candy. X6014. You know, as I'm moving this lamp around to try to get just the right lighting, thinking of a scene from an older movie. Everybody knows the first Psycho movie, right? Alfred Hitchcock, Norman Bates, and all that. But there were sequels to the first Psycho movie later on, after Alfred Hitchcock died, I think. I think he died before they made any. But Psycho 3 was actually directed by Anthony Perkins, the actor that plays Norman Bates. It's a pretty good Psycho movie. There was the original Psycho and then 2, 3, 4. 3 was more of a just straight up slasher horror flick. You know, 2 was still kind of intriguing and a bit more like the first Psycho movie. Actually, 2 was kind of tragic the way Psycho 2 played out. It's a really good movie, though. Psycho 3 is still a good, fun Psycho movie, but it's more just, you know, kill everybody. Anyway, in that movie, there's a scene where there's this guy that picks up a nun off a hitchhiker. You know, she was like running away from the nun place. X6014, right? Yeah. Baby Ruth hold on, I'll do this first though. Yeah, it is a PRR boxcar, Baby Ruth. Very nice. 6014 Baby Ruth PRR boxcar. There's white or red. White is worth $5 and red is worth $10. Although in excellent condition, white is worth $9 and red is worth $26. So there you go. Wait, what year was it built in? God damn it. That's you know, I shouldn't be focusing on the prices. I don't really care about the prices that much. I should be focusing on when it was made. 51 to 56. That's why it's nice and heavy still. It's before the cheapening of 55, 56. But anyway, in that movie, Psycho 3, there was this weird scene with this guy that picked up the hitchhiker. And this guy ended up being not too good, you know. Obviously, what some creep of a guy driving down the road is like when he picks up a young, naive nun. You know, but there's this scene in, I guess he's in the hotel room, and he's like, was it with the nun or was it with some other woman? I don't remember. But he was naked in the hotel room, and he was playing with these 2 lamps, moving the lamps around and stuff, and like making a light show with the lamps. That was silly. It was weird 70s stuff, you know. Of course, you couldn't even see any nudity, but obvious what they were going for. But anyway, that's what it reminds me of when I'm taking this one lamp and moving it up and down, trying to get just the right lighting. I don't know why it reminds me of that, but oh hey, here's another one of the operating box. I think I have 4 of these operating box cars, and the 2 that I showed off last time were more of a Tuscan color, and they were the older style, the heavier built ones with the good metal trucks and stuff. And I think these are still that, but they're brighter. They're orange instead of Tuscan. Let's see. No, that's too much. That better? And then turning this on is no good, even if I angle it way down like that. Yeah, that's too bright. It just makes everything shiny. Okay, this is an operating boxcar. I'm gonna say 3 of 4 because I think I showed off 2 of these last stream or the stream before. And they're good, heavy box cars. The top's plastic, but it's got a sheet metal frame, and they're heavier because they're operating a bit. And then they've got nice, heavy metal trucks and operating couplers, you know, yada yada. X3464, yeah. And so, like the other operating box cars, they're all pretty much the same. They have these style anyway. They have a metal pin here that you pull down with the track with the magnet in it, and you pull it down, and the guy pops out. Okay, you can't see the guy at all. Hold on. Now you kind of can see the guy sticking out, and then you can close the door, and you can pop him out again. Needs to be like oiled and stuff so that he pops out quicker. But yeah, nice heavy cars. I don't remember, I got all four at the same time. I think I did. But these cars are heavy enough that you don't ever want to put them all in the same train, because you're going to need a really powerful engine to pull it. Because I guess there's a decent amount of drag to them too. You know I said in the description for this stream, for all three of them, cleaning and oiling, and I'm not really doing that, except sometimes I'm like wiping them down, but that's about it. But there's no point in oiling them when I'm not running them. You know, you're just oiling them to stick more dirt onto them, basically. So that's why I haven't been doing that. Like, you can put like a tiny bit of oil in the journals here to make the wheels spin a little bit better. But there's no point doing that now. That, and I would really want liquid oil for that. Like 3-in-1 oil would be perfect. All I really have is WD-40, and WD-40 is in the spray. Well, there it is right there. It's, you know, it sprays, so it kind of gets everywhere, and WD-40 is more of a cleaner than a lubricant. It does work as a lubricant, but it's not as good as oil. Like, you know, 3-in-1 oil. I don't have that, so, you know. Anyway, this is a nice car, 3464. It's orange instead of Tuscan, which I think probably means it's just a little bit newer. The term newer is very relative, but you know, post-war, 34. I think it's still before, it's still like pre-1956, I'm going to say. It's before they started cheapening out on stuff. 30. Oh, that's modern era. Oops. $34.64. It says an X in front of it, right? Yep. I don't know why they did the X's sometimes. Okay, there's two options, NYC or ATSF. Okay, that's the difference. NYC was the other two, and they're like that darker Tuscan color. This is ATSF. That's why it's brighter orange. Also, no rust. I don't think anything's broken. I'd say very good. There might be some places that aren't just dirty, but might be a little bit of scuff. I'd say very good. Probably. X3464 ATSF. Yeah, they were both made only from 1949 to 52, which is why it's nice and heavy. That's before things got cheapened out. In good condition, ATSF is worth $10 and NYC 11. Excellent, which just really isn't, but they're close to excellent. 24 for ATSF and 27 for NYC. Interesting. I'd say it's probably worth about $20 each one of those. So that's like $80 just in boxcars that I have with the four of those. I think I got this set of four for probably like high 40s. WD-40 is not oil, it just attracts dust. Yeah, it's penetrant. Yes, Lucy, exactly. Yeah, oil would help. Yeah, I don't have like 3-in-1 oil. That's what I would normally use. But this stuff is gonna get stored under my bed now. It ain't gonna be out in the damn shed anymore. So it's not gonna be in a basement or attic or anything like that. So it should be fine. Should be a lot better than it's been anyway. Oops, hit the camera. Sorry. Yes, and the problem with WD-40, why people use it a lot, like on trains, like a lot of times I'll see a picture of somebody trying to sell a train, and it's just coated in WD-40. You can tell, because it makes everything shiny and pretty. But yeah, it's just going to make all the dust stick to it. Yeah, that's the problem. Is it makes everything shiny and pretty, so they're like, "Ooh, I'm gonna make this look really good." It's like it's just WD-40 now. I'm down. Not actually doing anything. Ooh. This one, if I remember correctly, oh, maybe I fixed it. I thought it had a broken coupler, but maybe I fixed it. Paper opening. We have a United States mailbox car. I like it. I like the red, white, and blue. I've always seen pictures of these. Oh, built 173. This is 70s modern era. Okay, never mind. I still like it. It's still nice, but it's probably not going to be worth much because it's modern era. It does have... Oh, it is an operating box car. It's got doors that open. And on this side, there's a man in there. There you go. See. Hey, he pops right out. Cool. So I've got 4 of the older operating box cars and 1 new one. Well, new. 1973 by the looks of it. It says built 173 by Lionel, but that doesn't really mean that's exactly when it was built. That's just when they first designed it. It's really... This is an example of a really nice car that I would expect to be worth a lot of money because it's nice. It's pretty. It's bright. It's an operating box car. It works. It's not original because this side has a plastic truck and coupler operating, but plastic, that they did in the 70s. This side, I remember, the plastic coupler, the knuckle broke off. And for a while, I just had it out as a display piece, and, you know, well, one of the knucklers broke off. But eventually, I must have gotten tired of not being able to run it. So, I must have had this extra. This is a post-war truck, you know, nice heavy metal one with the operating bit, operating coupler. And I must have just... I probably drilled out the old one, yeah, because it was a rivet. I'm usually really scared to do that, but I must have done that. Now, let's see. Yeah, there's a screw on this end, and tab, so you just take out the screw. Yep, I must have drilled it out. Well, I don't see any obvious marks from me screwing up. Oh, the frame is a tiny bit bent. Yeah, I did bend it a little bit when I did that, I think. I fixed it, but still you can tell that it's been bent. But, hey, it's got a usable coupler now. You can actually run it. So, and I probably did it because, as we're about to find out when I look it up, it's probably not worth anything anyway. So I was like, screw it. I want this thing to be able to be used. 9301. Let's see if it's really 1973. I don't think this one would have been one of that set that I was trying to put together. I don't remember what... I forgot to try to look more for that set. Oh, 1973 to 84. Oh, pretty common. So, first year, 73. Okay, that makes sense. That's why it says built 73. 27 and excellent. 35 and like new. If it wasn't repaired with a different truck, it would be excellent. But since it is repaired with a different truck and the frame has a little bend in it that I bent back, but you can tell that something's fishy went on. It's going to be less than that. Yeah, it's going to be like good condition. But whatever, it's usable. It still looks good. I don't remember if it had any trouble like with derailing or anything. I don't think it did. I don't remember though. I don't remember how much I ran that. Because I remember it having the broken coupler and just sitting on the side all the time. But eventually I must have said, you know what, I have this extra coupler from something else. I'm sick and tired of this thing sitting around. I made it work. trying to shake out whatever dirt crap as I get lower down in the box. Everything's getting dirtier. Gravity and all that. Oh, this is modern. This is another part of that modern set. Oh, maybe I got that car separate. I don't think it's part of that ATSF set. I think I got that car separate. One of the newest things that I ever bought, probably. Well, I mean newest as in at the time that I bought it. Probably early 2000s again. This is a tanker. Ethel Corporation anti-knock compound. You imagine a tanker this big of what is anti-knock? I know knocking happens in engines, but anti-knock compound. Interesting. Nice, pretty heavy car for more modern day stuff. The frame is kind of thin, spindly plastic, but all the wheels are metal. All the trucks are plastic. I don't know why it feels as heavy as it does, but it feels good. It's a nice car. I probably used it all the time. Couplers are good. Dirty, but if you cleaned it up without wrecking it, it'd probably very good condition. I don't know if it would quite count as excellent, but very good. Let's see if I can find a number for this thing. 32356. Oh, 6236, is that it? Oh, no, there's the number. Built. Oh, it even says built. Sorry, I need the light. This is going to be very bright. $19,625. Built 2001 by Lionel. 19,625. That's probably going to be too new for my book. And even if it is in the book, it's not going to give me a price because it's too new. Yep, Ethel tank car. 6236. Yeah, that's what it says there. 01. Yeah, CP. It does. It's too new. But I'd say it's worth probably $20 to $30, I would think. At least. It's a nice car. I think I used it all the time. Just want to see what... Is there a thing that tells me what the codes mean? Like what the CP mean? Current production. Oh, it was still in production. Yeah, that's why there's no price. It's pretty good shape, though. I don't think anything's broken off of it. I don't think. It's got these little hazard logos and stuff. I think I bought this car on its own when it was new. Which is like, besides that one new set that's been used and abused by younger me, this is probably the one thing that I have that's like new. Nice. It was bought new. I have to find a newer book to see what it was worth nowadays. The internet exists, I suppose. Or maybe somebody in the YouTube comments, if it's interested, will tell me. Now this is, we're going back to post-war. Now this is a lot like the other. This is going to be 60s, so real cheap stuff. This is going to be a lot like the other Golf tank car that I showed off last time or the time before. The other one I'm thinking of, let me turn off the other light again. It's too damn bright. I think that's better. Go with the light. what's better with this freaking light. That's better, actually. But it's a Golf tank car, Lionel line 6465. I do believe this would be 1960s. It's not quite as heavy as other cars. It's just a simple sheet metal frame, plastic trucks and couplers. They do operate at least. Plastic shell of the tank car, which is pretty common, really. But oh, built 158, it says. Well, yeah, it's at least late 50s, I would say. But unlike the other one that I showed that was just like this, that had these like walkways here and stuff, this one doesn't have all sorts of chips broken out and stuff of it. It doesn't have a broken truck that's been replaced with a big long bolt that doesn't really fit in it and all that crap. So this one's actually in, once again, if it was cleaned up, probably very good condition. Probably still not excellent, but nothing's broken, you know. It's nice. But it's modern. Well, not modern. It's 60s stuff, so it's probably not worth much. 64, 65. If anybody wants to chime in on the lighting, what looks better or worse, just yell at me. I can't really tell. Because it's still, like, just reflecting off the damn thing. And then if I don't have it reflect on it, then you can't see anything anyway, so... That's as good as it gets, I guess. 64, 65. Actually, 64, 65 is kind of close to 64, 64, which is... 64, 64s were a very popular series of very colorful box cars that they made in the mid-50s that are usually worth a pretty good amount of money. But this is 64, 65. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 different versions. There's a Sunoco two-dome. It is a two-dome tank car, but it is not Sunoco. There is a city service. It is not that either. There's Golf that could be black or gray. This is a Golf and it's gray. And then there's another option for LL. Lionel lines, two-dome, that's black or orange, right? Well, this one is Golf, and it's gray. If it was black, it'd be worth 25 and good and excellent, and yeah, 60 and excellent. That's what I meant to try to say. But it's gray, so it's worth 10 and good and 23 and excellent. And it was made in it was only made 1 year, 1958. And it says built 58 on it. You'd think that would make it worth a bit more than some of the other ones that were built in multiple years, but of these tank cars, though, it's built more. It's worth. It's like the third most valuable one, maybe. No, the city's services. It's fourth most valuable one. If it was black, it would be worth $25 and good. 60 and I just said that. Anywho, 1958 only though. It's a pretty nice car. I told my neighbor that since I was getting all these trains out of the shed. By the way, he's contacting a contractor to look at the roof and try to work on it. But it's not leaking yet, but it's getting close. But anyway, I told him that I was going through these trains and showing them off on stream, and he's like, "You're not selling them, right?" I'm like, "No, I'm not selling them." I know I could, and I know it would help a lot, because I think probably if you put all of the trains together into like one big lot, I probably got like $1,000 worth of trains, I think. I don't know. A lot of the stuff isn't really that great a condition though. But there's also track, there's switches, those 022 switches, the one that I showed you. I have like 6 or 8 of those. Those are worth like $50 a pop. Some of them. The ones that aren't in as good shape aren't worth as much. But yeah. It adds up. Oh, is this the last operating boxcar? I think it is. Yep, it's another orange one. You can see just from the edges. They aren't living paper. Yep, last operating boxcar from the late 40s. Again, I'm not going to look it up again because I already looked it up. It's still an X3464, yes. There you go. AT and SF. Probably can't make it out, but it's X3464. This is orange instead of like Tuscan, like the New York Central ones are. And you can see the man in there. Let's see. It'll pop out. Yeah, it pops right out. The one where it doesn't pop out too good needs to be taken apart and cleaned and oiled a bit. This one is in, I was going to say is in really good shape, but the one corner, was it always like that? I think it was always like that. I would have remembered if I broke one of these. The one corner here is broken off. You can see the one that's not broken off on this edge. So that drops it down to good at best. And on top of that, somebody who knows what they're doing could get rid of it, but there seems to be black marker on this part here, on the edge, on the corner. Yeah, that's black marker. I thought for a second maybe the orange was painted on and it was worn off and it was black underneath, but no, that's black marker. So somebody who knows how to get rid of black marker would be able to do that, I would think. But, you know, it's got a corner that's broken off anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal. So this is the least valuable of the four. I think I said before they were probably worth 20 bucks a piece, but this one's probably worth like 10. Still nice, still heavy. The little man pops right out. I love these cars. You always got to put them up in the front of your train set so that you don't have a, because they're heavy, so that you don't have a string lining problem. And yeah, you don't put them together in the same set either, else you need a really beefy locomotive to pull it. Oh, what year was this paper where they're already talking about Johnny Depp? Depp's aide in text to Amber. Oh, Lord. Disturbing text messages allegedly exchanged between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's assistant. Come violent even before the marriage. Holy crap. June 2nd, 2016. Interesting. First off, yeah. There was a whole trial for that. 2016. When was all the Johnny Depp crap that was in the news with the trial and then all that stuff? This is a couple years ago, right? That went on a long time. Heavier. This might be a little further. Yep. Good one. Here's an Alco. We've got a diesel. Got a cab. Two sets. These are the good ones, so. This is an Erie 2032. Yeah, that's about right. These are only probably in good condition. The paint's a little scuffed here and there, like the stickers, the decals are a little scuffed. Would need some TLC to get it better than good. But they're really good runners. And the way the motors are set up, they're just really good runners. Oh, the Lionel stickers, the decal is worn off here. I just noticed that. This is the dummy unit, I can tell because it's not as heavy. So the way these are is you'd have two of them back to back. They're Alco FAs. You know, Alcos had PAs and FAs. PAs were 6-axle for passenger, and FAs were 4-axle for freight. I think I don't remember engine-wise what they had. I have to look it up, but yeah, this is the dummy unit. So you have an AA set, basically, 2 A units. One of them would be a dummy, unpowered, powered, which is this, and the other one is going to be the powered unit with the motor in it and everything. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't put the... You'll see when I look at the powered unit, but it has a electronic horn that just goes... And the horn is activated by a button from the transformer. And for some reason, the horn has to be powered with a D-cell battery. Why they couldn't figure out how to power the horn with the same power that powers everything else on these trains, you know, the track power, the AC track power, I don't know. But it's like the signal to activate the horn comes from the AC power. There's a little thing that clicks up and down. But the horn itself is powered by a battery. It's silly. It's just the way they were always made them that way, though. I think even in the modern era, like 70s and 80s, they still made them that way. So with any of this stuff, you got to make sure that the battery's not left in it, because, you know, batteries leak and corrode and all that fun stuff. But anyway, it's in pretty good shape overall. You know, I'd say maybe a little better than good, although that one stick decal is worn off. I wonder if you can find replacement decal. Somebody would have to know what they're doing to really be able to get the old decal off and a new one on without making it look like it was happened. But, you know, these are very good running locomotives, by the way. I think I said that already, but so this one's lit, so it's got power trucks. Yeah, it's got the contactors just to light the light inside, but that's all the dummy does. It's light up. Get dragged around by the A unit. If I remember correctly, the powered unit is a lot faster in reverse than forward, because all of its working life it was probably ran in forward, so it kind of got a little bit more yeah, the motor got more run out in forward, so if you put it in reverse, it's faster, I think. Something with the gearing. This must be the A. Dirty from the box. There's the A unit. Well, they're both A. There's the powered unit versus the unpowered. Of course, in real life, they both be powered. Let me just put this up here for a second. This is really heavy because it's the motored unit, it's the powered unit, this the big guns. You know, it's got magnet traction, it's got good magnet traction, and there's some little bits of shmoo stuff gunked up in the gears. I see. Not that bad, but yeah. Oh, the wire for the coil coupler is disconnected. I don't know if it just broke on its own. I might have done that purposefully because it's coil couplers, and the coil couplers can just randomly, if the power gets a little wonky or anything, they can randomly open up and uncouple on you. That's why I don't like the coil couplers. They're annoying. That's what they had in the beginning. Paperish on here. But it's what they had in the beginning before they figured out the mechanical couplers with just the pin that you pull down with a magnet. Those are a lot better anyway. But yeah, very heavy. I didn't get it too close to the camera, did I? The decal's good on this one. If anybody sees any pictures of Australian streamlined diesels from back in the day. Well, they still have some preserved right now. They have the same stripe logo as these Erie units, but it says VR in the front instead for Victorian Railways. Always catches me, makes me laugh a little bit when I see somebody, like an Australian person, put up a picture of one of them. Oh, look how great this is! And I'm like, wait, that's Erie. Why does it say VR? I guess they got the idea, you know. It looks good. It looks good. It says VR. Of course, nowadays VR on virtual reality. No, Victoria Railways. Let me just real quick. Anytime I get to one of these locomotives, I know I'm not stupid enough to leave a battery. This is a battery compartment, and even it says right there, to operate horn, insert a size D flashlight cell here. Caution: remove cell battery. I don't know because the word cell is shorter. Remove battery when locomotive is not in use. Yes, because they corrode and they leak and they damage things. Now this one wasn't making good contact with the battery, so I had to add a piece of metal here to contact it better. But the horn does work. You pop this off. That's pretty clean. Okay, this one is clean inside. You're not going to be able to see, but it's not corroded. There's one of these locomotives I have. I think it's the silver ones, where it is pretty corroded inside. Let me see real quick. Just for the hell of it. This is the reason why most people don't even ever bother putting batteries in this, because first off, you forget about it and then it can cause damage. But second of all, I think these batteries are probably still good enough. You don't need track power to actually activate these. The thing is, the way this horn activates is there's a little, I'm going to call it relay for lack of a better term, but there's a little motor kind of thing with a couple different tabs and then an electromagnet that pulls the tab up. When it pulls the tab up to contact the other tab, that's when it completes the circuit and the horn goes off. Well, if you turn this thing upside down, gravity makes those tabs connect. So if you keep a battery in here, all you have to do is turn the thing upside down, even without any track power, and the horn will go off. It's annoying, to say the least. So I'm going to do this just so you can hear how beautiful this horn is. It's an amazing horn. You will see. And of course, you have to hold the thing upside down to put the battery in. So you put the battery in, and then you quickly try to get it flipped over so that it stops going off. It's funny. It's a whole thing. Oh, come on. There. I don't know where this piece of metal came from, like the inside of an old outlet or something. But I realized it wasn't making contact, so that's what I had to do. Let's see. I'm surprised it's not going off yet. Well, let me take my headphones off. I want to hear if the relay is clicking. On the hook. It ain't clicking. The battery might not be good enough. I know this flashlight's kind of dim. Hold on. It's only 2 screws. What the hell? It's possible a wire came apart and I didn't remember it happening, but this is the horn here. Now let's see, this is, oh God, this is heavy. That's the E unit. That's the thing that decides if it's in forward, neutral, or reverse. There's the battery we just stuck in. And then this thing here is the relay that when it gets the power, the certain kind of power from the track, it pulls up the metal tab and makes it go off. And I'm surprised that it didn't go off when I had it upside down, because I remember just turning these upside down and having the horn go off and getting pissed off about it. And there's the actual motor that drives the train. It's a pretty strong motor. And then there's the light bulb. Oh, I hear it trying. I think the battery's not strong enough. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's trying to make noise. I think the battery's not strong enough. I think it's the battery. Either that or you have to fiddle with this and adjust it a little bit. It might be a little stuck, but it's noisy. It's very annoying. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's trying to make noise. I think it gets a little stuck too. Yeah. It's probably the battery's not strong enough. Okay. I just wanted to blast you guys with it at least once, but oh well. It makes getting the battery out annoying because you have to turn it upside down to get the battery out and the whole time. It's hilarious. Well, I mean, you can take it apart like I just did and put like a piece of paper between the contact points or something. Let's try the other battery that's in the flashlight, but it's probably going to be just as bad. Do I have any other D cells batteries? Not up here. Not that anybody's here to hear the amazingness anyway, but yeah. Okay, one more try. Nope. By the way, since these batteries are all the same voltage, I think they're just different sizes. I remember one time I only had C-size batteries, and I had a C battery and then put something metal, like maybe a ball of foil or something, to make up the difference to make it work, and it worked. D batteries are expensive too, because they're big, heavy batteries. Let's try it. I remember tapping it before and making it work. No, she don't want to sing. Okay. Oh well. Not that big a deal. I just wanted you to get blared, but I'll try the other one. Well, I think the other one, there's something wrong with that horn and it doesn't work. I think this is the only one that really worked. Well, one of the switchers might work, but as far as the Alcos, the FAs, Could be wrong. I don't know why Lionel thought that was really like the sound of a diesel horn, but yeah, it's loud. I kind of want to play it for you. Let's just go. Alright, let's stop messing around, get the shell back on. The way this shell attaches, by the way, is I can't really show you because, you know, my lighting's not good and stuff, but there's a little metal tab on either end that gets turned in and out with a screw, with a nice big screw. So you put the shell on and then you just turn the tab and it locks into a tab on the shell, and ta-da, it's on. There's no holes on the ends with a screw that are just gonna break out because, you know, you're supporting the weight of this thing with this. You still, anybody that I let grab this, I make sure they're very careful to always hold the frame of the locomotive. You know, don't just try to carry it with just the shell. You can, but it's not good for it. You know. But the cheaper ones that they started making after 1955 would have all of this, like this part under here too, would all be plastic, part of the shell, and then it would have a screw in the end. So this plow part, they would call it, of the shell would just get broken off easily, and the screw holes would get broken out. I'm noticing something with this one that makes it not even good condition now. Is this metal, this part that goes under the coupler here, the prow they call it. This is actually metal and part of the frame on this, instead of the newer ones that are plastic and crap. Anyway, this one, even though it's metal, it's got a crack going all the way through here. It's got a break, actually. It's not just a crack, it's actually loose. So that would have to be repaired somehow. That's unfortunate. I don't know if it was already always like that or if I did it, actually. I couldn't tell you. I don't think I did it. It's also missing one of the ladders on the back end here, unless it never had one on the... I don't know if it always only had one on one side. Let me look at the dummy. So yeah, these are well played with condition. Okay, on the dummy, this is in perfect shape. No crack or anything. And it does have a ladder on both ends, on the back end. So yeah, this has been damaged. Oh well. I don't know if I did that or if I bought them that way. I don't remember, actually. I don't think I did it, because by the time I was running these around, I was older. I wasn't messing around in the basement, flying stuff off the table and whatnot, so I don't think I did it. But I might have. I did have a couple of issues with the train flying off the track towards the back of the table, and then the train would end up just crashing into the wall. But it's a drywall, you know, plasterboard wall, so they'd probably put a hole in the wall before it would damage the train. Because these trains are heavy. Paper. Oh, it's heavy. I love whenever somebody looks at my trains for the first time. I love to hand them one of the locomotives to say, "Oh yeah, How much you think that thing weighs? And just give it to them, and then they'll just put both hands on it and go, whoa. I'm like, yep, it's heavy. Yeah, they're really heavy. It's awesome. Cleaning them or oiling them or anything, but you know, who knows when I'm gonna be able to set up the tables and do this properly. If ever. Part of me does sometimes thought, or part of me does sometimes think that I should just sell these. Nobody's actually gonna use them. And I could have the money. I mean, you know, how long is the money gonna last anyway? I don't know. I can't sell these trains. I'm too attached to them. Although, if my sister's kids, got 2 kids, if one of them started being really interested in this stuff, and I got like written stuff from their parents saying that they would take care of them if the kids don't want to take care of them, and they would be stored somewhere safe and all that good stuff, I would probably give them my niece and nephew. What I'm getting at, if they were interested in them. But you know, kids nowadays, they're not interested in trains. Although my nephew Jordan, he does really like old stuff, but I think he likes old stuff just to look at it. I don't think he would actually like want to set up a train table and run the trains around. He's a little young too. Well, he's not that young. Yeah. I gotta go to the doctor tomorrow. Just getting a little reminder. Silver one? Yes, this is the other Alco. We're doing both Alcos right now. Okay. That was really heavy. So this is the power unit. This is the other set of Alcos that I have. These are both same. Oh, I should have looked it up. 2023 was it? Of course, these are like fairly good condition now. Fortunately. 2032. These are early post-war. They kept making Alcos throughout the whole post-war, but after 1955 is when they cheaped out and did the bigger plastic shells with not as much metal and the motors that would shake themselves apart after a little while, you know, all that great stuff. So this one's 2023 and the other one's 2032. Is that it? Let me look it up now. They're both like barely good condition. The silver ones are really scuffed up. Actually, this one looks even worse. This one, just by glancing at it, I think has some moisture damage. They're heavy, so I put them down at the bottom of the box. They were up on a shelf. They weren't on the floor or anything, but I don't think they got wet from the roof because nothing else is wet. I think it's just moisture from humidity of being out in that damn shed. Okay, it's not 2032 because that's the GG1. 2020. Being stupid. 2032, isn't it? Okay, 2023, that's these. Union Pacific Alco AA units. Yeah, yeah. There's yellow body. There's silver body. Okay, there's a yellow body or there's a silver body. These are the silvers. Now, if it was a yellow body and it had gray plastic on the nose instead of yellow, it's very special, and it doesn't even list the price. It's so special. NRS, whatever that stands for. But I remember looking those up and they were worth a lot of money. But the yellow ones that don't have the gray nose are worth $145 in good and $255 in excellent. That's how much these are worth. And this one, silver, is slightly better, $150 in good, $270 in excellent. I'm gonna say, before looking at them, good, but actually I'm glancing at this one, they're in poor condition, I'm gonna say, so it's worth like half that. These look really bad and they smell bad too. They were at the bottom of the box, and I think maybe they got a little wet because they are really scuffed up. Union Pacific. But I don't know. It's hard to tell with this lighting and stuff, but they're not in that great a shape. They still run. I used them to pull those silver passenger cars that I showed off in one of the other streams. It's heavy, you know, but it's not in that great a shape. The nose, it's all kind of white. That's why I'm kind of wondering if it got like a little bit of mildew damage. They might clean up a bit, but they're still scuffed up pretty good at the end of the day. That better not be a crack in the shell. I don't think it is. But yeah, they're in pretty rough shape. They do run. Like I said, I was pulling that passenger set with them. Now this one, I think the horn is not connected. Let me see. I think it's not connected internally, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this one, the bracket for the horn, for the battery for the horn, is a little rusty. It's not too bad. It's not terrible, but it did get a little rusty. You know what? Screw it. Let's try it. Doesn't take long. I'm not going to take the shell off and investigate inside, but I'm just going to put a battery in it and see what happens real quick. It doesn't have an extra metal piece for contact, so... Oh, and that piece is gone. The welded... I think the horn never worked in this one then. I would have tried to make it work if there was a chance. I think the horn's disconnected inside. Let's see. I'm just going to put this in, but... Pretty sure... Yeah, there's no way that battery's making a connection. Yeah. I think there's something wrong with the horn in this one, if I remember correctly. Okay. Oh well. Yeah, I think it's disconnected, the horn. I might have even gotten rid of the horn in this one, because I knew it was bad. I don't remember. I wanted you to hear the sound of my people. How many other people have one of these bad boys? Duracell flashlight. These things will last the nuclear apocalypse. Yeah. Nice, heavy. They do run. But it's not a lot of TLC to even be in good condition. I will say that the front round plow bit is not cracked or broken in this one. And I think maybe it's the dummy. Yeah, the number boards are missing. Which you can get replacements easy enough. Actually, I looked into ordering new number boards, but I never actually did it. Oh boy, that's heavy. have another box laying around though. It's the same size. This one. This is the dummy, right? Yeah, it's missing one number board. Yeah. Wow, that's in really bad shape. I do remember these being in kind of rough shape. I don't remember if it was quite this rough, but yeah. You can see there's like yellow, like the paint's worn off so much you can see like yellow underneath. I remember when it lights up with the light, it kind of looks funny too. Yeah, these are going to need a lot of work. These are the good Alcos. These are the good, heavy, well-made, well-built Alcos. If you're looking at post-war locomotives to get, you can get 2023, 2032 was the other set, the Eries. Union Pacific or Erie, I think, are the only ones that are the really good. Well, what about Santa Fe? I don't remember this. Santa Fe, I think, were F3s. These are Alco FAs. And they're shorter than the F3s are bigger. F3s are really nice, but they're big, huge things. But this is a really good first kind of locomotive to get into with post-war. This one. Don't get the newer ones that are 3 digits instead of 4 that they made after 1955, because those are the ones that the motors that can shake loose, like the 44 tonners that I showed the other day. Those are annoying. I mean, if they're running good, then okay. But they're always going to have cracked plastic in the front. They're always going to have broken screw holes, pretty much. This one, yeah, that's not broken. And the ladders are good. Yeah, it's a team shame. I didn't remember these ones being in such bad shape. I think these ones kind of took the brunt of damage from being out there in the shed, because they were down there at the bottom of the box. Although this whole box was sitting right on the plywood table. It wasn't down on the floor. So I don't know why these are so rough. I'm not going to... It's not from roof leaking on. This box, by the way, that I brought in today, was not in the area where I was worried about the roof leaking. So I know there's absolutely no chance roof leaked on this stuff. I'm going to put these right back. Box is dirty inside, but everything's wrapped in paper, so... But yeah, so that's that box. That box took a long time. I don't have much more. I just have one small box with a whole set in it, actually. What then after that? Time's it. Oh, it's 11:23 already. Okay, well that'll be it then. Actually, this black set of these Erie Alcos, when I worked on the NJ Railroad, I had these two on a piece of track on a wood shelf or something in the train station on display. The actual, train station, M&NJ station. Because why not? I said, I gotta bring something in here to spice it up a little bit. Okay, what is heavier stuff that could go on the bottom of the box tires? I was kind of proud of those. The black ones, the Erie ones. The silver ones, yeah, they were in a little bit rough shape, but I don't remember. Very unfortunate, because those would have been worth a decent amount of money. Now they're not. That's the only thing I've really seen through all of this, though. It really looked like it deteriorated a lot, though. And once again, I don't remember exactly what they looked like before I put them in the boxes, so they could have already been pretty rough. I didn't think they were that rough, though. I'm gonna find some stuff that we put. Feels heavier. Yeah. It is what it is. That's just life, I guess. I'm gonna really be able to do much with those silver Alcos someday. Keep browsing like eBay and stuff. Sometimes people will sell just the shells, the plastic shells of the locomotive, like the rest of the locomotive's wrecked, but the shell is still good, so they'll sell that cheap. I'm not in any rush to do that because I don't have money and I don't have a place to set them up, so. It's funny that one tin mixed in with everything else. Leave that box right there. Okay, one more box, and then the last box is just Transformers. I need to show that off. Oh god, it's heavy because I'm sitting. Okay, here you go. You see the Lionel boxes, post-war Lionel stuff. Let me get this. The one box is kind of sitting inside the other boxes. Now this is an entire set. I think this is the only time I bought a whole set on eBay. I got it pretty cheap. What I didn't realize until later on is I'm pretty sure they've all been restored, like repainted and stuff. So it's probably not worth that much, but still, I got a pretty good deal on the set, if I remember correctly. This set is from, I believe, 1948 only. It's early post-war. The locomotive is a 221, I remember that much. I have two different 221s. One of them is part of the set, and the other one is, the one that's part of the set is black that I think has been repainted. And then there's a gunmetal gray one that is in pretty rough shape. It's in pieces actually, because I had to take it apart because it needs an axle. I have all the pieces, I can put it back together, but it needs an axle, which is something that's really hard to change on these locomotives because you need a special puller tool to pull the wheel off the end of the axle. Then you got to get it back together correctly. It's tricky. Wrong book. Boy, this smells really bad. Mildewy and stuff. Look at sets real quick. I do believe this book has a section on sets. Lionel catalog sets. Here we go. 45. I'm looking for 221. That's not passenger cars. Lionel 027 freight train. That's probably it. There's a couple. 1946, not 48. Okay, yeah, it is directly after World War II. I remember that. 2411, 2465. Yeah, those are the first two things I see. And 24/7. What's the difference between these two sets? They have all the same pieces. 1403 and 1403W. Oh, this old box. Hold on. I don't know exactly what set it is. 5-1. This old box is the actual box that the set came in 1946, believe it or not. It says 1405-1 on the box. side, which is not 1405W. Oh, it's the tender, whether or not it's a whistling tender. It's not a whistling tender, so yeah. If it was a whistling tender, it'd be worth $250. The whole set is only worth $250. Wow. And this one is worth $175, supposedly. I thought it would be worth more than that. I would think just the engine and tender would be worth that much. I got this whole set, I want to say, for not much more than $100, if I remember correctly. I remember it was a bid. It wasn't a buy it now, and I had to like play the bidding game. Okay. Yeah, but I got the boxes. The boxes are in pretty bad shape. I can see them falling apart already, but just the fact that it has boxes. 1405-1 it says on the side. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Number 1433, freight train outfit. 27. You can see that, but look at that Lionel. 1423. $14.33. Oh yeah, Lionel freight train. Okay, 1947 instead of 46. 1433. 221, 221T, 2411, 2465, 2457. This is worth $300 for some reason. I don't know what the difference is, but this set is worth $300. There you go. And probably in better than good condition, and I don't know. This stuff would really go for more than good condition, and then, like I said, you'll see when we get to the engine and tender, I think it's been restored. I think the front axle on this is bent in the engine. It still works, it still goes down the track and everything, but I think the front axle might be bent. Because that seems to be a big problem with these, like, pre-war and early post-war steamers, is the axles get bent. Just fits in there. Okay. I think I will put the box here. Alright, I'm noticing also in this box, because I guess I had needed a place to put them, switch controllers, plenty of switch controllers. These are the newer brown ones. I use the term newer lightly. The black ones, they go with the 022 switches. There you go. Those are the 0222 switches. Some of them have clear bulbs with green or red plastic lenses that go over the bulbs. And those are the newer ones. And the older ones have actual green or red bulbs. I need all sorts of new bulbs, I'm sure. And this, I shut off one of these first stream I did of this. I'm not even gonna bother unwrapping it, but this is another switch controller from like very early post-war for the 027 switches. This one is pretty much destroyed because young Red Bear thought it was like a good idea to put a nail through it to attach it to the table, and missed the nail and just broke off the whole corner. So this is just electrical tape. It's all taped together. It's pretty terrible, but it still works. You can still throw switches with it. So, you know, there you go. I also destroyed one of my switches with a hammer. And then the guy at the train store that I took it to, he said, well, you pretty much wrecked this one. I've got this replacement. And I thought he fixed it. What I didn't realize until later on, much later on, is that he gave me a whole different switch instead. And the switch he gave me, the one that I broke, was a right-handed switch, and then he gave me a left-handed switch, and I can't believe he did that, and I can't believe I didn't realize it until like a year later. I guess I wasn't using those switches on the layout, and then I tried to put a layout together with these two switches, and I'm like, what the hell, they're both left-hand. So yeah. Oh, and here's another. Oh, I forgot that I had two of these sets besides the original. Here's another one, and this one's not smashed with a hammer. So there you go. These are what I would use for the yard switches, so that you didn't have to actually use them that much, because they were in pretty. They didn't switch perfectly, and the controllers weren't in that great shape. And here's one of the more modern 022 ones with the actual lenses. You can't see the actual lenses over the bulbs instead of bulbs that are painted, basically. Okay, so let me put all this stuff. So I don't know why this stuff was in this box. Just to put them somewhere, I guess. I did not cover my bed with a sacrificial sheet this time, so now my regular sheet is covered in all sorts of like cardboard bits and dirt and stuff. That's nice. I don't know why I thought I didn't need it this time, but anywho, how cool is that? 2465 tank car, Lionel. The box is in pretty bad shape. This side the flap's loose, and this side doesn't even have a flap anymore. But it still gets the job done. It still protects the cars. Looks like an insert. Okay, let's go it this way. Oh look, the insert even has the holes. The fact that it has the insert is actually pretty good. You can see this is in really good shape. Sunoco tank car. What did I say it was? 24 something. Doesn't say the number. I'm wondering if these are the original decals. Because like I said, I think this stuff's all been restored. Like it's been taken apart and repainted and stuff. I don't know. If it has been, it was done really well. But I will say these decals are significantly yellowed, which is what they should look like. So I don't know. It's hard to tell. $24.65 stamped on the bottom. It's got some nice big screws holding the tank down to the frame. Which I don't know if that was original or not. Trucks are held in with rivets. It's hard to tell if this has all been torn down to the small bits, repainted, and put back together. I think it might have been. But it's still really nice. I mean, I didn't pay it a crazy amount for it either. The problem with this set is all of these cars and the engine, they all have the coil couplers. I think they still work. I think the wires are still attached to them and stuff. But like I said before, the coil couplers, especially when going over switches and stuff, they might just pop open without you asking them to pop open. It's a little annoying. I'd rather they didn't have coil couplers, to be completely honest. But this is more of a show set than a run set. I did run it now and then. Most of the time it sat in the yard. Nice, heavy metal trucks, wheels, couplers, you know, all that. Yeah, this is 1940s, what did we say, 47? So they really didn't know how to make anything not metal yet, except the plastic shell of the car. The fact that it has the insert and everything is pretty neat. Hold on. Which way does this go? Doesn't matter. I guess that's good enough. It's too bad the outer box is in as rough a shape as it is, but it's probably the only thing that kept this from going for a lot of money. Okay, 2411. This one, the box is splitting open completely. Like the whole seam of the box is flapping. Unfortunate, this flap is hanging on by a thread. This flap is completely gone, so insert again. It's 2411. I think this is a flat car, yes. Look how neat this insert is, though. That's more impressive than anything else, I think. Somebody put a lot of love into this set. It's got this neat insert, and then you got the logs up here. You open it up and there's your car. 2411 flat car. This stuff's all, I would say, excellent condition easily. I mean, it needs to be cleaned, obviously. Everything I have is kind of dirty, but that coupler was open just now and I just closed it. The coil couplers, yeah, everything's going to be the same quality of the set. This one, I don't think, there's no way it was ever repainted for sure, because the body of this is plastic, so it'd be obvious if it was repainted. This is probably in its original condition as any of this stuff is, I would think. Except these logs are replacements, probably. I don't think those are the original logs, but who cares? It's just wooden dowels, you know? There you go. Lionel lines. I'm not looking up the value of each one of these cars because I already looked up the whole set. Back 12 bedroom. But yeah, really neat. How did this go? That, these three go up here. How cool is that? The whole thing goes like that. That is really cool, the packaging. Usually don't get to see the packaging on all this stuff, because if you buy stuff with all the original boxes and packaging, it's usually worth a lot more. And I was always like, I'm not buying it for the boxes, thank you, I'll spend less, not have it. Bad, the seam of that box is all ripped. This is a bag that came with the set also. It's got like the ends of the flaps that broke off, and then it's got like some little instructions and stuff. Pretty neat. Not even gonna open it up, I'm not gonna mess with it. It's probably gonna fall apart. Oh, there's talking about the control track with the button to activate the coil couplers. Cool stuff. Back 12 bedroom. Interesting. I didn't write that, I don't think. Okay. Oh. They even have a little box for this. I mean, the tabs are broken off and stuff. Ooh, this little Lionel box. Number 88 controller. By what they mean by number 88 controller is a number 88 button. And this button is control switch. I thought this button would be like a whistle button. So if you didn't have a transformer whistle with a whistle button, you could use this instead. It's not. All this button does is when you press the button, it cuts the power to the track. So when it's held down, the power's off. And the reason why they call it control switch is because the way the locomotives all work is they have something called an E-unit that I mentioned a couple of times. And the E-unit decides if the train's going to go forward, reverse, or neutral. It cycles. Every time you hit this button, you're going to cycle that E-unit between forward, neutral, reverse, neutral. You'll see me do it if you look at my train videos on YouTube, you'll see me pull up the power. The train just sits there in neutral. Bring it down, pull it back up again, and boom, it's in forward. That kind of thing. That's how that works. And with the button, you don't have to pull the throttle up and down and up and down. You can just hit the button real quick. You just go, okay, neutral, forward, neutral, reverse, neutral. So I actually had this mounted right on the front of the table for that. Didn't use it as often as I should have, but I had it mounted there just to be able to shut the power on and off quick. It's neat that even that has a little box, and that was part of the set, I guess. It's cool, and this is probably the control track. Maybe. I do have one, yeah. Again, the box is not in that great a shape, but gets the job done. Now, was this originally in the box with the track? I wonder. I don't know, but it is now. This is the control box. One button says uncouple and the other button says unload. This is what controls things along with the track for the coil operated stuff. Uncouple would be the coil couplers that you see in this whole set has coil couplers. If you press this button, it activates it on a car that's over the track that this is connected to. If you press this button, it will uncouple the coil coupler. If you press this button, unload, that will activate something that can be operated with coils. The only thing I have that would use that button, I showed it off from one of the earlier streams, is I have that twin dump car where it has the two different dump things. It goes, when you press the buttons, it just buzzes a lot. It dumps the one and then it dumps the other. That would be this unload button. The wire is pretty damn stiff. I don't remember the wire being this stiff because I used this. I actually used it. 61. Oh no, I'm upside down. It's 1019. That's the track. This is the track that connects to. You can see all the screws that the wires connect to, and so there's all your screws. There's your main outside wire rail. There's the Lionel O gauge is always 3 rail. The center rail is the powered rail, and then the 2 outers are the other rail that has to connect with the power rail to give you power. But then what this has is it has 2 other inside rails here and here. Those are the rails that will connect to the little sensors, the little shoes on the bottoms of the cars for the coil coupler or coil unloader thing. So when I pull out another car, 2472 maybe. This has got to be the caboose, yeah, 2472 caboose. Just make some space here. Oh, this box is really good. It's got both flaps. Careful, careful. Oh, this is gonna be the Pensy style port window caboose, isn't it? I do have another port window caboose, and this one's probably all metal because it's the pre-war style, but early post-war. Yep. There's the caboose. 2472. Oh, it's not a porthole style. It's Pensy, but it doesn't have the round windows. But this is the same exact car that they would have had pre-war. There was a lot of stuff that they made late in the pre-war years that they just carried over to post-war before they made up all the new stuff, So this is 2472. Oh, it does say N5 PRR, but it's not NC5. Okay. But yeah, it's metal, which is nice because it's metal and it's post-war with the post-war couplers, which is nice. And it's got the coil coupler, and it looks in really good shape. It doesn't really look like it's been restored and repainted and stuff. If it has been, it was done really well. It doesn't have a light, and it looks like it never did. It probably didn't because it's very early post-war. But anyway, that right there, that's the little shoe for the coupler. And when that shoe is resting on one of these rails, I don't remember which, but one of these inside rails, and then you hit the button, then it'll uncouple the car. Really neat system. The only problem is, and this is probably because back in the day when they had these coil couplers and stuff, they didn't have the switches that they came out with later on, like the 022 style switches and all that. And that doesn't mean turn radius, by the way. The turn radius is 31 inches, but just the number of the switch was 022. They still make 022 switches, I think, because they're just really good switches. But anyway, when this coil coupler stuff runs over some of those switches, or there's any kind of like weak power or power interruption, even for a split second over a bad joint, sometimes those coil couplers will come apart, which is kind of annoying. So this set is more of show. I did run it now and then, but not too often because, well, first off, the locomotive is a little running. It looks beautiful, but running wise, it's a little not so great because, first off, since this is so early post-war, it doesn't have magnet traction. They didn't do magnet traction just yet, so the wheels spin really easy on it. Even with this train, and this train's kind of heavy because of all the coil couplers and the heavy duty trucks and stuff, so it is kind of a heavy train to pull. It's not that crazy, but careful. So yeah, I'll run the set now and then, but not a lot. I think I made one video of this set. I think. I don't remember now. I don't remember if I made a video of this set because it was always a little tricky to run. Besides, between the locomotive not working perfectly, it worked pretty good, but not perfectly, and then the coil coupler sometimes coming apart, I might not have run it too much. I think I did do one video on it. Remember? Okay, now the star of the show. The 221T and the 221 locomotive. 221 is T is the tender. T means no whistle, basically. 221 tender for 027 track. They made a point of that because there was 027, there was O. But you can run anything that's 027 on O, not the other way around. O gauge, basically. The reason I wonder what the hell's the difference between O and 027. It's the same gauge width of the. This needs decals. Width between the rails and all that. 3 rail, but it's about the radius of the curve. Inches radius of the curve. 027 is the smallest, cheapest stuff, basically, for the kids and whatnot. So a full circle of 027 track has a, not radius, diameter, right? Has a diameter of 27 inches. Through the middle of the circle. O gauge, for some reason they didn't. Well, O gauge is also called 031, but a lot of times they just called it O gauge. O gauge is a little bit nicer stuff. And then with trains, they'll call it 027 and O. 027 is kind of the little bit cheaper stuff, a little bit smaller. And then O gauge is a little bit bigger, a little bit fancier, and the curve is 31 inches instead of 27. It's not really that big of a difference, but the track I didn't bring in any track. That stuff I'm just leaving out there because it's not in a place where it's going to leak, and I only have so much room for boxes in here. But the track for 031 is higher off the tabletop, whatever you want to call it. It's higher. It's got the metal ties that hold the track together. There's 3 per track section. The ones on 031 are a little bit taller and thicker metal. They're better built, basically. And so the 31 track isn't only a little bit of bigger radius curve, but it's also better built track. It's heavier. Like those 022 switches was O gauge, was 031 style. If that makes any sense. I hate calling it 022 because it's just going to confuse people. Well, does that mean it's 22 radius? No. For some reason, that's what the number they gave the switches is 022. I don't know, but it doesn't have anything to do with the radius. It's O gauge, it's 031 gauge. I think they probably made them for also besides 031. Now, this doesn't come on until probably later in Lionel's career. I don't know when they came out with the bigger radiuses. But there's also 048, 50 something, I think, and then the biggest one is 072, which is huge to make. So it takes 27 inches to make a circle of 027. It takes 72 inches to make a circle for 072. And that's for your really big, when you get a locomotive that's big enough that it doesn't even fit on my little shelf here, then it needs to be on 072 because it can't go around any curves tighter than that. You know, it's going to fall off. That's more modern when they started making everything scale instead of gauge. Basically, when it's like O gauge, that's just the gauge the rail fits on, and the size, the scaling of it is, you know, basically whatever they wanted to make it. When they start saying O scale, then everything's trying to be a specific scale, a ratio of how big the real thing was versus your scale model. And that's when things get really, really intricate and perfect, you know. Like if you watch, now my clock is getting slow. 12 o'clock. The gong is getting really slow. Wonder if my stream's picking that up. Gong, I'm not counting. Are we done? Okay. But if you watch Eric's trains on YouTube, he gets into really full-on detail of all this Lionel and MTH stuff, and that's the more modern scale trains. And you know, he'll get the little pen out and look at every little railing and stuff and say, this is separately applied, that's a big deal, you know, and all this and that and this and that. That's when you get really, really well detailed, really nice, but also insanely expensive. This stuff is all O gauge. I don't know if anything I have was made specifically O gauge instead of 027, because anything 027 will fit on O gauge because it's just a bigger curve. It'll run better on it because it's a bigger curve. But if something's made with a minimum radius of 031 and you try to run it on 027 track, it's probably going to have issues on the curves. Sometimes it might not, but it might have issues on the curves, and especially like the switches, the little 027 switches to go into the yards and stuff, it's probably going to derail and flop off and stuff. Anyway, with that rant out of the way, here's the tender. Unfortunately, the decal's wrecked. People know how to get these decals off, and then there's replacement decals you can get on. But besides the decal, the paint is in really good shape, although I see a tiny bit of rust. It's in pretty good shape. Actually, I don't think this was repainted. I used to always think this was all repainted, but between that decal being messed up, this one's in pretty good shape still. New York Central. Metal. I don't think this has been repainted, really. Because it's still, you know, a little rough. There's a little tiny bit of rust here and there, like little dots. I don't think this has been repainted, although I do see there's like these little metal tabs where the whole thing's put together. And it almost looks like somebody had it apart once and then put it back together, so maybe that's why I thought it was repainted. I mean, there's no reason to ever take this apart because it's a T-tender. It doesn't have whistle. Like you can see, there's a hole down here where you would have whistling stuff, but this one is not a whistler. Probably, what could have happened is one of these trucks couplers went bad, and they had to take it all apart to drill out the rivet and replace it. That could be it. Yeah, the rivets look different. That looks like a original rivet, and that rivet looks a little bit bigger. I bet this is the truck that has the coupler that pulls the whole train with. I bet this had to be replaced. Oh, and the, I never noticed that before. I don't know if it was always like this and I never noticed it, or if it just happened more recently, but the shoe for the coupler is missing. The square hole here, that's where the shoe for the coupler would normally be, and it's missing. Which means probably just the solder came apart, but that's going to be hell to try to fix. But I don't really care. I would rather these coil couplers just always stay locked closed anyway, because they're just too much trouble to deal with. But anyway, that's the tender. Damn shame that one of the decals is completely wrecked, but I have seen decals online to buy. I remember looking into that, but I never tried it. I never knew if I would be able to get the old one off to even replace it correctly. It would be too obvious, you know. Here's the engine. This is the engine, the 221. Now, there's going to be a trick to opening this. I think this is an insert that comes off. The end flap's ripped off, both sides. Okay, the engine's just coming out on her own here. Some box crud on it, but it's a piece of styrofoam in the end. Okay, I thought maybe the insert would slide out, but it didn't want to. That's okay. Now the engine's pretty dirty, I see. I don't remember it being quite this dirty, but that'll clean up. 264, because Lionel never figured out that it was supposed to be 462. Pacific. This is a streamliner. This is, I think it's a carryover from post-war. I don't think they made this new. I mean pre-war. I don't think they made this new in like 46 or 47, whatever it was. I think this style shell was from pre-World War II, probably. And then they just carried it over and made it for post-war with the post-war couplers and all that. It's a 221 black. The other one I have that's in bits that I have it all taken apart. Maybe I put it back together before I put it away. That would have been nice. But that one is gunmetal gray. This one is black. This one is the one that I really thought was repainted. But I don't know. Hard to tell. I'm not one that's too smart with that stuff. Ooh, there's some shmoo on the wheels. I don't like that. This is white crap. This has a little bit of icky damage. Well, not really damage, but just crud that from sitting out there in that damn shed. You know, the contact shoes are pretty worn. They're easy enough to replace still, but they have a little bit of corrosion on them. So it's a little bit, almost like if a battery gets old and gets a little bit of green stuff on it. I don't know how the heck that happened here. Just from being in that box probably, and the moisture of the humidity of being out in that damn shed. Yeah, one of the tires on the wheel is rusty actually. Oh, that's a damn shame. Well, the wheels still turn okay. Yeah. I think this front axle, oh yeah, this front axle is definitely bent. Yeah, that's why I didn't run this one too much, because it was the front wheels kind of wobble. It's still pretty nice. I would still call it good condition. Not much better than good though. And then if it was repainted, even less than that, but I don't know if it really was. I wonder if putting it in that box was the best idea. It has like a Lionel decal. Oh, that's not decal, it's a print. Yeah. But some of the paint's a little worn off there. There you go. Overall, pretty nice. Not in the best of shape anymore. Oh, that's a shame. I think what I'd like to do if I ever get back into these trains and working on them and stuff is the gunmetal gray one. That front axle, I kept trying to fix it. Like it was, I could tell it was wobbly and bent and stuff, and I kept trying to fix it. Eventually, the end of the axle just broke off. So the gunmetal gray one definitely needs an axle. So if I can use that one to experiment with and get myself an axle puller, figure out how to get the old axle out, get the new axle in. If I can figure out how to do that with that one and get that one together and running good, then I might do the same thing with this one, because this one I think is bent. Or at the very least I have to pull the wheel off the axle and put it back on. But that is, when it starts messing around with drive wheels of steam engines, that's above my pay grade when it comes to working on this stuff. Other stuff I'm pretty good at, but that is a little over my head. But I don't know, maybe someday. Squeeze this thing back in the box, I guess. Kind of wish I didn't have it in the box, actually. No way. Hold on, I'm going backwards, aren't I? Get in there. There we go. There's a little bit of like wear that's just from the box, I think, that I kind of wish it didn't have. But you know, come on, get back in your house. Yeah, you don't get to stay out yet. Someday. Okay, and that's it for this box. That's this entire set. A little bit rougher shape than I remember it being in. Like everything else. Time marches on, I suppose. This stuff. Still really neat. Someday, some way, get the train set up, maybe. I'd love to, but I don't see it happening anytime in the near future, but something might change. Trying to stick all these switch controllers back in here without too much drama. The only other thing I have to show off is some transformers. I guess I can before I end the stream. This poor box. Really neat having this old original box, but it's definitely deteriorating over time. It's just cardboard only lasts so long. Now here, here are some transformers. Okay, now that I showed you them in the box, I'm gonna get the box out of the way. So we're gonna see old transformer versus modern transformer. First off, this is the main transformer that I mostly ran everything with. Everything on the main table. It's a, let's see, type RW. The name of this one. This one confused me for a little while because the dial works opposite the other old one that I have, but you can off and all the way up. If you connect posts A and U together, you get a scale of 0 to 19 volts, and then B and U would give you a scale of 0 to 15 volts. Boy, that's not much of a difference. But yeah. this only has one output, by the way. One output that scales with the controller anyway. But this has a direction button, which works just like that loose button that was in the 221 set. It just blacks out the power for a second when you press the button to flip the direction of the engine. But this button is the whistle button. That's the whole reason why I got this, because I wanted something to control whistle, because I do have a couple things that it would actually be able to control. But as you might expect, this is pretty heavy. Transformers always are, and especially old ones. And there's the back of it telling you which posts to connect. There's A, there's B, and U. U is the thing that makes it variable with the dial. So A gives you more voltage than B. And then if you connect A to C, wait a minute, there's a C and there's a D too. If you connect to, yeah, basically, if you connect the other ones together without U, you'll get a constant voltage of a different kind of voltage depending on which ones you connect to. Which sometimes you want constant voltage. Like I used constant voltage for the tracks, those 022 track switches. They all could be set up to have their own voltage that wasn't controlled by the track, which was really handy so that they would be lit up all the time, and then you could throw the switches without having the track powered on, which came in handy a lot of times. I didn't know that for the longest time. Finally, somebody in one of my YouTube videos, and like, why are you running all of this off of track power? I'm like, what do you mean? And then I realized, oh yeah, these switches all come with this little pin so that you can connect a wire to it. And then I did my research and figured it out. Max open circuit voltage 25 volts at AU with whistle button down. Okay, so it goes up to 25 volts at AU with the whistle button tilted, because the whistle button pushes out more power in order to make the whistle go off. I think that's how that works. I don't really know exactly how that works, but yeah. There must be a way that the engine just figures out that there's more power than there should be versus the track, and then that's when it flips off. I don't know. I'm not sure how that works. Anyway, pretty good shape. You know, it's scuffed up and stuff, but who cares? It's a transformer. Who cares? Oh, why it's called multi-control train master. That's a little silly, because there's only one control. There's only one control. Yeah, if you connect to the different posts, you'll get different voltages and stuff, and then you can connect some wires to the posts without the U, and then have them powered all the time. But as far as multi-control, no, there's only one. Because there's other bigger transformers that have multiple dials and multiple posts in the back that those dials control. So then yes, you can have multiple. You can have one part of the track with one dial and another part of the track with a different dial. This doesn't do that. So calling it multi-control is a little. Train master. So type RW. Original cord still in good shape. A lot of times you have to redo the cord because the insulation dries out and cracks, and then you can have a fire. Now that's the old style of transformer. Oh, and I don't know if you saw that little red bulb. That's the indicator when there's an overload, because there's a short. The red light will come on and scream at you. Not scream at you, but you can hear it go. Now this is very lightweight. This is a modern transformer. It's like a little junior ZW type thing, because the big ZW is that big giant transformer that's got these style levers on either side that you can control multiple things with. This is kind of like the mini Z that they made. This is modern. This came with the set from early 2000s. The reason why this is so lightweight is because this is just the controller right? And it's got a direction, whistle, bell. Why there's a difference between whistle and bell, but I guess if you hook up the power the wrong way, it'll still work, but just with bell instead of whistle. You know, it has the same kind of posts thing where one of them's the common whatever. But then there's an input here. And what you plug in there is the actual power source. That's the actual transformer thing that's heavy, the power block that actually steps down the power from, 120 from the voltage of the outlet down to max of 18 volts. I think this only puts out 18 volts instead of 19 or 20 something. The newer ones don't put out as much because the newer trains didn't need as much. Also, there's nothing on this thing saying which transformer is. Like the other one, it said right on the front, type RW. This one doesn't say anything, which is a little silly. But modern day. Anyway, the reason why this is so light, the actual transformer step down part is a different thing. It's buried under the table, but I'll show you the one for this one. I think it's 80 watt, 80 watt maybe. The one for this one is kind of like this, but it's bigger. It's a bit longer and heavier. Because this one, so like you have this separate brick. This is what actually plugs into the wall, one of the wires, and the other wire goes into your controller here. Basically, they split it up so the heavy part is separate from the controller part, so that this isn't heavy. Which, I mean, it does make sense. I mean, why not? So this is one of those heavy bricks that actually powers it. But this, I think it would work with that transformer, or controller, I guess you would call it. But this is really meant to go with this one. Actually, I think I only ever had one modern day set. So one of these transformers that I'm showing off, I think it's this one, I bought separate. Because I had 3 freaking tables back when the days when it was set up in my basement. I had 3 tables, so I needed to have a transformer for each table. I had the one that came with, that I just showed you with, that came with the modern set. And then I have the one that I didn't show you because it's in another box under the table. I didn't show it off, but I'm not going to dig it out now. But that's the really old transformer that came with my grandpa's set from pre-World War II. So it's even heavier than the first one that I just showed you. And it doesn't have a whistle or direction button, which is why I bought that one that does have a whistle and direction button much later. But anyway, I needed this in order to power one of the tables. This, I mean, there's your whistle button, there's your direction button. It works, but it's much simpler and it's much weaker. This only, I don't remember what voltage this puts out, but it doesn't put out as much voltage as the last one that we just showed off, which is of course controlled by this thing. So yeah, there's the wires coming from it. This one, I think nowadays I would only use for the accessories, like street lights and maybe the track switches and all that stuff that can be powered separately. I would use this for, and just keep it at full power all the time. This doesn't even have posts in the back that you can hook up the wires to have different voltage options. It's just hardwired right to the transformer. It's cheap. It's El Cheapo. I don't remember if this is the one that came with the set, with the modern set, the 2000 set, and then I bought this one, or if it was the other way around. If this came with the set, and then at some point in time, I might have bought this first, actually, before I got the set that had this. I don't remember which came first, but at any rate, I think when I had this stuff set up in the bedrooms here, so the last iteration of my train tables, I think I used this only for the accessories, because it's really not powerful enough to power the... It's powerful enough for a train set if you have just like a single loop of track, like a big oval, and you're just running one train set around the oval. It'll work for that. But much more than that, it's not powerful enough. So with like come with starter sets. I think that's probably what came with the set, and then I bought this because I needed more power and I needed something to run the main table with. Actually, I think this ran the next table down, and I ran the main table with the big old one. I don't remember now. The really old one. The really old one is fun because that thing puts out like 24 volts without a whistle button, so it puts out more voltage than everything else. And that's probably why sometimes my trains went too fast and goosed off the table. But, you know, what are you going to do? So yeah, that is everything I have to show off for today. And I think that's it for Lionel train streams and videos that I'm going to be doing for a very long time, if ever, if I do any more. I'll just have to get lucky and have access to those rooms and able to put up the table, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. Something drastic would have to change for that to happen. But yeah. Oh, this box flap goes. Yeah, that's everything I have to show off. And time's at 12:30. Yeah, that was fun to go through stuff. It's also kind of bittersweet because some stuff is damaged a little more than I remember it being. I think. Unless it was that damage when I put it away and I didn't notice it or blocked it out of my memory. I don't think so. I think some stuff just took a little bit of damage just from being out in that shed. Especially the stuff on the bottoms of the boxes. It's unfortunate, but I didn't really have a choice at the time of what to do with these trains. Because I went from having these trains in the both rooms and being fine to, we need to rent out the room, we need to rent out the room, we need space. So I was like, okay. I knew I wasn't bringing in any money or anything, so I had to say, okay. I very willingly gave up the rooms. And just packed up my trains and put them in the shed and said, we'll figure it out. That was, I think, 2016. So, what are you gonna do? Dirty, dirty, dirty. So now I need to... I don't really see anything changing anytime soon. Hey, look. Our truck 2. I gotta set that up. Maybe I'll do that after I stop streaming. I gotta reinstall it. So the next time I stream Hard Truck 2, it's gonna be a fresh start again. Well, I'll probably play it a bit off stream and get myself about the same financially, you know, whatever I did on the stream, a few jobs worth that I did on the stream. Because yeah, I done goofed because I tried to. What I did is I wanted to install another instance of Hard Truck 2 King of the Road. You know, the more modern version of it. So that I could try out a mod pack that I found that Sturgy clued me in on. Which I did. It's a really neat mod pack. It just adds snow to everything. So everything's covered in snow, which is kind of neat actually. I don't think it does much else besides that, but it's still cool. But anyway, when I installed King of the Road for that, and I saw it first, I was looking around at different places where I was going to install it, and I looked at actual C drive program files because I'm like, oh, that's a tiny game anyway. Who cares if it's on the main drive? And I looked there and I saw Hard Truck 2, which is the disc install that I was playing on the stream last time. I said, well, that's Hard Truck 2. I'm about to install King of the Road. Surely it's going to have, the folder's going to be called something differently, and I can just have both of them installed in program files. No. Apparently, King of the Road, the first main folder that it installs, is still just called Hard Truck 2. So it overwrote my Hard Truck 2 install from the disk that I did the stream from. So I figured that out. I deleted the whole folder and then I installed King of the Road again so I could have the mod pack. Now I have to install the disk version somewhere else or call the folder something else. I'm not sure. I gotta figure it out still, but I had no warning that it was gonna overwrite it because, you know, old game. That's just what happened. And no, I didn't back up first. Yeah, I didn't perceive that happen. I didn't lose that much progress. The only reason why that bugs me so much, I didn't lose that much progress, obviously. One stream's worth, but when that last install of Hard Trek 2 from the disc that I played on stream, we were seeing rare trucks. And it was not patched, and we were seeing rare trucks. I'm a little worried that when I install it again and try to play it, I'm not going to see any rare trucks. So, keep your fingers crossed on that. Anywho, you gonna do anything else? I feel like I didn't stream that long. I could do more stuff, but I am looking at the clock. It is 12:30, but I didn't start until 9. Oh, 3.5 hours. That's not too bad. Yeah, I think I will end the stream then, because I have to dig around under the desk, under the bed, get the newspapers and the ruler that I left down there, and make a space for these boxes that I just went through. I know there's going to be space for that. I don't know if there's going to be space for much more than that. I don't think there is. In fact, if this is all the trains that I add, and everything else that's in the shed is going to stay out there, because there's no more... I'll have to go out there and look one more time, but I'm pretty sure there's no more trains out there. There's boxes of rails, and there's boxes of buildings and stuff that was on the layout, but there's no more trains. That was the main thing I was worried about. So all the other boxes that are out there, they can stay out there as far as I'm concerned. First off, I don't think that roof is ever going to leak, because my neighbor is getting on top of it. He's calling a contractor, and they're gonna replace the roof. It shouldn't even cost them that much. It's just a shed, you know. But second off, everything that's still out there, I made sure it's not under the place where I think it's going to leak. So the only thing that's going to get wet if it does leak is there's a couple of boxes of old encyclopedias that nobody cares about. Of course, when I saved those boxes, and at the time we were cleaning out downstairs after my grandma passed, I put those boxes, like, I don't know, up in my room somewhere. I think I put them near the door to go up into the attic, but they never made it up in the attic, and everybody just wanted me to throw out the encyclopedias. They're like, why are you keeping all these freaking heavy books? But I was like, I don't know, why not? You know, so now they're out there. They've been out there in that shed. And they didn't get wet yet, but they're in the right spot where if it starts leaking, they will get wet, and I'm not... Maybe I could try to find a different part of the shed to put them in, but I don't really care about them too much. I cared enough to save them, but at the same time, it's like they're just old Funkin' Waggles encyclopedias, and I think, like, I don't remember how many of them are, but about half or 3/4 of the way through is an older set of encyclopedias, and then the rest of it, like, you know, letters, I don't know, M, N, O, P, like maybe letters O through Z is a newer set of Funkin' Waggles encyclopedias. My grandpa didn't buy the whole set at once, I guess. So they don't even all match. And of course, even the quote-unquote newer ones are probably from like the 60s or 70s or something. So completely outdated. I remember using those encyclopedias back when I was in school, and I was doing like, I don't know, book reports or some kind of reports or something. I used to reference those encyclopedias. But, you know, nowadays, the internet is a thing. Right, so, yeah, I guess I'm gonna wrap up the stream now. I don't really have any. I can't really switch to Derail Valley. I got too much stuff in the way that I gotta do. So no, I got too much stuff. I do want to get back to streaming a little bit more often. Tomorrow I'm busy during the day, but I mean I should be done with everything by after dinner time. I might stream tomorrow night. I don't know. Saturday night and probably Sunday night I'm never gonna stream really, because guy on the other side of the house. He actually does some live streaming on YouTube. I think we could probably both stream at the same time. It would be okay, but I don't know. Our upload speed is not that great. Download speed is pretty good, but upload is not great because cable internet, I guess. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. My vanilla Minecraft server is not running currently, but as soon as I stop the stream, I think I will run it. I was restarting the computer a lot earlier. I was trying to get that damn audio port to work in the front, and it's never going to work. But if anybody knows my... if anybody's around that does get on my Minecraft server, it will be up. And then if somebody else, like in my Discord or something, it's got to be somebody that I kind of know. But if you don't have the info for the Minecraft server and you want to get on and talk to me, message me and stuff, and we'll talk about it. I'm just a little worried about somebody, you know, getting on randomly and wrecking stuff, but it is whitelisted too, so if somebody wants to get on my server, I need to add their name to the whitelist. But yeah, I don't think it's going to take much for you to get me to let you get on the server, though. And anybody that I know, and if you know who you are, if I know you, yeah, I'll just give you the information or whitelist you. It's no big deal. Anywho, I'm going to, yeah, wrap things up. I don't really know how to end streams. I don't know if anybody's noticed that yet, but there you go. I went to the ending screen. That's a good step. Anywho, I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow night. If not tomorrow, then probably not until Monday, I would think. And probably get back to Derail Valley. I've been slacking a bit. I've been pretty busy. Anywho, I'll see you guys around then. Later.